All right.
Hello.
No, we're almost there.
You want to say, Charles, are we ready?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so Charles, do we want to do this exactly like we did Tuesday night and just go line for line?
Yes.
Okay. And we're going Calvin Gate. Yes, right?
It looks like the figures are all the same.
The figures are just.
Okay, so we show salaries. We have asked for an increase. Can you tell us whose is what?
It's the first one down here is the increase in payment
Renee is going to be.
because here.
Okay.
So what is that?
It's going from 62,650.
Oh, the 75. Okay, it's not double.
Well, no. So what, do you know what what the,
Mine's 30.
okay. Okay, and then, so Tammy's would be the rest of that, which would be 30,150. Is that right?
Be 30, wouldn't it?
30.
Yeah.
It would be 32,150.
No, 30.
650.
No, Calvin's, it's 62,650
Take away
minus
32,500.
32,500. Be 30,100.
Okay,
Of course, that jumped the insurance.
okay.
Okay.
So postage and everything.
I left it the same. The next item, supplies. I don't know what that was for, so I just said.
And
The 1,900, Cindy, let's do that like we did the others. That would be about $190 per month. So 190 times 20.
2286. So 20.
Yeah, we can leave it. I just kind of wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then supplies.
I don't know what that was for.
Well, you never used it, but they've used it some in the past, way back in 2016.
Yeah, but see, our stuff never gets credited right now. We asked it to
Okay. So you just think of it at zero.
That's what I say. If I need something, I'll come back and request it.
Okay, okay.
The next one is telephone, and it takes every bit of that, the these new systems.
Okay, so
Yeah, every bit of that, because if you divide the 2218 by 10 times 12, it's 2660.
Okay. Okay, so 2,800. And then we're at the fuel, oil, and lubricant.
Yeah, and I left that the same as before because, the mayor's using the card. And then on the next line item, I actually took the travel expense out of $1,000 because we never used the travel expense.
So you just put it on automobile and equipment repair.
Repairs or something. And just did away with that other one because things always get charged to what's supposed to be. It was for going back and forth to the jail for the city or the courthouse. And so I decided, well, I'll just take the car if I need to go for y'all instead of having that line.
I see what you're saying. Just take that Tahoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
everybody-
if you're adding, okay, maybe I didn't understand. The fuel that you left, you put in 1,000, and then you said you moved the 1,500.
For the repairs because they was got out of line
Way down
last year.
here. Okay, see, I
just moved it up. I don't know that
well, we've used
we've way,
2,423
yeah,
this
we
year.
went way over, but we shouldn't do that again.
Okay.
Just
So,
never
okay.
have that, but
Okay, that's what I was saying.
I
'cause
don't
that's,
foresee using
that
all of
figures
that.
nearly 3,000, so that would just be 2,500. So, okay,
And the next one I zeroed out, like I say,
the travel, okay.
I've never used it, so. Yeah. The next one was printing. We used that because we've actually got another bill coming through now for about $232.
Okay.
That will come out.
So the 500.
And dues and memberships, that is actually the third line item and the little letter on the back
Okay.
that tells you that Local Government Solutions bought out Hill Country. And they're going to start backing up our systems instead of us doing it. It's all going to be on the cloud. And so it's going to be an increase.
Cost
I
more
think
money.
on the back page, it's $5,040 is what it's going to be annually, $420 a month after we get set up.
And this takes the place of
Hill Country.
Hill Country.
Hill
So-
Country was bought out by LGS.
Okay, and so LGS is,
And LGS is the one the courthouse has
okay,
for everything. And so I'm trying to work it to where when we take Local Government Solutions in municipal, we'll have them in JP as well, because they will come and train everybody for a week. And that way it would be cheaper if they didn't have to make 2 trips. And you got to get on the waiting list. So the sooner we get on the list, the sooner it'll
So
happen.
do you think we've already used 2781? And,
We use 25 or 2750 is what Hill Country costs.
okay,
And then we have dues and memberships for
other thing.
for Judges
Okay, but if this is
Association
gonna
and
cost
stuff.
5,040,
Yeah, but we had 4,000, but 1,200 and something of that was always left in there because somehow we got hung for paying cops.
yeah.
You remember
That's-
that?
I remember that, because that's what we. yeah.
So
And then Dan
5,500.
moved that last year to where it went to
All
the
the
PD.
police.
So, you know, if it wasn't for the upgrade, I wouldn't need that other additional money this
Okay.
year on that. It would be like $3,000 probably.
Okay, so 5,500 is good.
And workman's comp, I have no idea.
Well, that's based on salary and the
Right.
code. And
And Dan, did I remember right from the other night, you were talking about the workers' comp, that with secretarial, it is very inexpensive for the workers' comp?
For admin workers, it's very inexpensive.
Going 500 over here on current budget.
but nothing's
Let
Let me
coded.
see what
Broad
he
problems.
showed. What did
But
he show?
nothing is coded to it. I've got his right.
Well, they should be the same other than the footnotes.
So his is 500, so let's leave that. Let's- Yeah,
Yeah, at the current budget.
okay.
The next one's contract labor for a community service supervisor. And right now, we're doing it ourselves because it's real minor. We don't have a lot going on. But I do have a gentleman, Alan Lemons is wanting to do it. If we get back going before we need him,
It'll be.
I'd like to keep that training in
1,000.
schools. We didn't do a whole lot this year because of COVID. We shut it down, but we are going to get back on. it. And then the rest of it's about the same, except for down there, community service supplies. And last year, you know, we agreed to buy lawnmowers and stuff, but we didn't have a place to store them because of the gas, so we never did purchase
And we still don't have a place to store.
them. Look at it, we bought the land behind us, right?
Yes.
There's
that's
that little
closed.
block building. And community service could put a roof and close the windows. But it's got a metal door on it.
And it is cinder. Yeah.
So, you know, that would be a place for the gasoline items and stuff, and insulate the ceiling. Just, you know, there again, that's y'all's call. We can discuss that later. But we could get it repaired with labor from community service.
I'm looking at training.
Mhm.
Has Tammy ever been to any kind of training?
No,
I really feel like we need to
we've
push
talked
that.
about that, And there is some webinars you can do online.
Oh,
But, you know, right now she's doing fairly good at keeping up with the backlog and all. We've got nearly everything scanned in while we were down on COVID. So nearly all of our active cases are in the computer now. And so we're still working on getting that, but we like very few getting all of them.
If she does do the online training and stuff, is it very expensive?
No, we can do it. I
Okay,
mean, that covers
okay.
both of us. That's what I have in the county for me and Amy.
Uh-huh,
And it covers travel as well as the classes in lodging.
okay.
So, and, you know, she can do some in Odessa. They have clerk classes there.
Mhm.
And you don't have to go all the way to Austin.
Okay. Is it hot in there, y'all?
it is me, but
No, but I'm in a sweater on
You're
tonight.
fine. Okay, I won't hush. I'm burning up.
I'm old, burn.
Well, I froze yesterday, Tuesday.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so did we get through it?
Well, we're
The
at the
capital out-
retirement,
Okay. And you're right, the retirement will go up.
and so will the medical insurance. Health insurance.
Do
is
you
the
think
big
it
one,
will more than double?
14,000 just for her.
That's what it costs to check.
Well, that's
Oh,
what
is that
Dan
what
gave,
Dan said?
that's what Dan gave me.
Jeez.
Well, year to date, and that's just half the 69.75.
3/5.
Oh,
Okay.
But that's the
But
figure.
that's still $10,000.
That's double, right, Cindy? I mean, you're right at
69,
70,000.
75, that's 13. Yeah, it's pretty
Dan, do you really think that the health insurance on Tammy is gonna be that full 14,000 for a year?
Let me double check.
The other two, capital overlay and miscellaneous. That's just what we carried last year and they never was.
Well, your
used.
miscellaneous is already at 841.
Yeah, but there again.
Yes, ma'am. At her monthly premium, it's rounded up slightly, 13,777.44.
Okay.
That's what that is property
Is
tax.
that what you pay for
For
both?
myself,
Oh, just yourself.
1,000.
How old is her and Tommy are saying that.
Oh,
About 52.
Are they? I thought
I think her and
she's
Tommy-
closer,
Tanya was in the same class. Her and Tommy.
I think she, but I mean, she is
Oh, yeah.
mid-50s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they
If
rate
we're
us
through
up.
that,
when
I'll
we
have
get-
one other comment and then I'm through.
And we'll leave the 1,500 community service supplies.
Well, that was for lawnmowers and stuff. Push mowers.
Are your people, when they do work, are they having to wear masks and all that?
Yes, the only one I have right now is Dimitri College.
Okay, okay.
But
He has one of them.
Scott,
Mhm.
well, now does, but Dana can get you a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh, I have it. Robert Barrett supplies.
Robert Barrett.
At the county, we have this, we have everything. The only other thing that I want to do is upgrade our computers because they're Windows 7 and we need to be
We
Windows
talked
10
about
now.
that one. Yeah.
So I don't know if we can put that in the budget
Well, your budget's,
or to buy it. I have a little technology money. I was hoping to save that if we ever remodel and use it for security and stuff.
well,
You know, it's y'all's call.
your current budget is 92.5. And year to date, you spent 68,711. We're not talking about but about $3,000 or so, 3 to 5. Don't y'all think you can buy it in this year?
I think so.
Well,
I'm
like I
trying to
say,
see where we could,
these, we've never replaced them. They've been there as long.
Do you
as
not?
I have
Oh,
the Sandra house.
So, you know what you're gonna do, gonna go through that government?
Yeah, that's what we did before with the laptop.
I'd say go ahead and get them because, I mean, you're at 92.5 for your last year's budget, and you're at 68,711. So we still, there's 23,000.
Yeah, we still have.
Well, yeah, but not a lot.
And you know, I don't foresee us needing any more office supplies.
Well, if we just divided the 68,711 by 10 times 12, that's 82,000. So we should have 2,000.
I won't read all of that.
I think we really should.
I'm good.
I would
Say
too.
whatever
What do you-
y'all-
Is everybody okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So. Yes, we have told everybody, we'll tell you the same thing. We don't know anything about raises until we start crunching the numbers. We're just, this year, we're doing a little different by just going over everybody's budget.
Crunch the numbers, give it to Tammy.
Okay.
Just make sure she gets one.
Well, it's just, our taxes are down.
Well,
And I'm afraid they're
I'm
gonna be.
afraid sales taxes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I haven't looked at our sales tax.
but,
No,
you
it's
know,
been about the same. I've been real surprised.
Have you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, I know the county's not giving raises.
Yeah.
Like I say, that's y'all's call. Just give her something if you can. Don't-
Well, unless you have anything else.
That's it. I got to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
y'all's
Thank
time.
you.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry
Have
I
a good
was so confused,
All that time.
but it wasn't, it didn't take too long.
I can start. I have to go back.
Well, I'm gonna suggest that the three of you. I had something. I forgot.
You think you're gonna survive. Sometimes those stomach bugs, you think,
After a year
it's
visit
been
and
years
until
since
it's
I
all.
had one that bad.
Well, it wouldn't have been so bad, but I had the dry heaves. And
Well, I have to be super duper sick to throw up again.
oh,
I was telling before you got here, my iron is low and I'm having to take iron. Oh my gosh, it's making me so sick in my stomach.
oh yeah.
I mean, I can't, I have not done nothing, but it's just,
And you
nothing tastes good because you're thinking, I don't know.
I was so ready. I went home at lunch and I made a big thing of soup.
Dana soup,
Oh, no,
Oh,
I
just regular
just hamburger and
Okay.
vegetables and
vegetables.
I got home. and it's-
Oh,
I was like, I don't know why. I was thinking, oh, 4 hours will get it done. I was like, I want a sandwich.
did you have it on low?
Yeah, I should have put it on high. If
Yeah.
I'd have done it this morning, then it would have worked out, but.
Yeah,
Okay, Renee, we don't, does fire department time do yours?
no,
Okay. Okay.
no,
But I mean, who?
we just do it ourselves.
I can
So
look at
we
it on
have
here. I just left the meeting. I just got it on here.
We got sanitation, parks, water plant, and then those two new plants.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Do you want to do the two little ones
I'm gonna keep
first
up with
and the cup and whatever?
Suit y'all.
I'm gonna take mine.
Oh, and street maintenance, but that really is kind of separate thing. There's only a budget on it, no
You know,
expense.
that's before, are you still on? It's- you- you have to- that's- it's not really help. It's kind of a little bit more, she explained it.
Yeah, I did some.
So.
Mine's gonna be difficult, I can tell you right now. Mine's gonna be slow. Where are you starting at? Where we all wanna start.
Deborah, what are you trying to say?
I don't know how much you want me to. The TW, you know, do you want to go into?
That's up to you. I mean, I'm talking about it. I know.
Okay, then that's fine with me.
You wanna do that first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I called the engineer, I called Dalen. We had some discussions about what this project really is all about. And several months ago, probably back in April, May, a guy named Perry Evans came down to see me from Improtech and was talking to me about what kind of projects that we were needing to do. And so, you know, I'm trying to be participated. So I talked to him about some of the projects that we need, like the water mains that are in the highway that are in bad shape, moved, replaced, stuff to do with them. About the water tower, about the storage tanks, about 4-inch water lines that are glue joints. They're Schedule 40 glue joints in a couple of places in town that need to be replaced. You know, just different things like that. And he was talking to me about that if they pursued a grant, that it would be with Texas Water Development Board. And, you know, so I told him, yeah, I understood and all that, and that we were already in the process of getting a loan from USDA, because I started the loan application with USDA for the water tower and the tanks probably in the middle of the wastewater application, because she told me, let's do it, let's get it on board. And I'm like, okay, so we did it. But anyway, that's what this is stemmed from. And I don't know why Improtech's not pitching this, but I guess whoever it is with the Texas Water Development Board, the Laura Hooten, which I'd never heard of her name, didn't know anything about it, was the one that contacted Dan and, you know, got him on board with all of that. And then Dan, I'm assuming, and Laura Hooten contacted our engineers on the job, on our current engineers on this job, because he's already, you know, elbow deep in this project, which is Chad Tompkins. And, so what the deal is the D fund is actually the loan, which is $2.7 million. And
That again, now refresh my memory, that is on what you already submitted months ago.
right, well, it's partial. Now there are some other things added to it that is not added on to the USDA application. I didn't put water mains in there. All I did was the water tower and the tank.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's in that, and generators.
In this 2.7.
No, in the one with USDA.
Oh, okay. And this one's with Improtech.
This one is with the Texas
TW.
Water Development.
This is the
Board,
one that Dan brought up at our meeting
Right.
Monday, that
yes,
we really kind of didn't know we were doing.
Yeah.
right. And like I said, Chad has put some effort into it, and the thing of it is that the $3.3 million grant is really coming from EPA, not from the Texas Water Development Board. And so it has to have something to do with arsenic removal, arsenic remediation. So the only way that we can qualify for that is it has to have something to do with arsenic removal. So he has added some things into that. Chlorinators, some line changes with our cup system, which we kind of do need a little tweaking in there so it can work. You know, and then there's the water lines are still in there. And instead of 2 water tanks, they're looking at getting 3, 500,000 gallon, and then a 250,000 gallon to go with the 150,000 gallon that we have, so that we have a backup, and so that we have a little more I can't think of the word, y'all make me nervous.
Surplus?
Like
Surplus?
Yeah, a
Oh,
little more just so that we can, if we have to do repairs to one tank, then we've got another one to, it's
Switch
easier
off.
for us to switch off. Because right now, we have such a mismatched size. We have 500,000 gallons and 150,000 gallons. So if we pump into the 150,000 gallon one with the wells, and that's where the sand settles out, that's where it's chlorinated, where the chlorination starts. And then it gravity overs to the 500,000 gallon. And then the pumps pump out of that tank. So if you tried to take the tank out of service, then you're going to be trying to chlorinate and pump out of that small one, and it'll be a challenge. So, but that's how it's going. And so it's water lines, it's some additional lines and some bypasses, an electric valve for the RO system, for the cup system. It's for some water tanks and a water tower. So, and they think that, and he says that $6 million would cover it. And that we would only have to have a loan for 2.7. Well, my questions were asked, because he said this is going to go really fast, that with the application and all the process, that we would probably know something by the end of February and March. Whether we qualify, whether we get the loan, the whole share. And my concern was, can the citizens of Seagraves take this commitment? Yeah, and
already paying on it.
yes, exactly. And that was been my concern, here quite a bit. And he told me that he had been punching the figures, and he said that he thought at this point it would be $5 per connection. I think he's estimating a little low myself. But that's
Is
what
this
he
a
told me.
40-year?
No, see, that's the other thing about with Texas Water Development Board. They have approximately the same interest rates, but shorter. So to where USD may give us a 40-year payback, theirs may be 20. So the payments will be higher.
And that was her concern, is that we're moving ahead to try to get this 3.3, but then we haven't even talked about the
The
2.7.
2.7. What
And
that's
yes,
gonna cost us.
she understands that, yes, we're just starting the process. But the way I understood it, if we just start the process, we're out 30,000, right?
Well, the plan right now, see, he's done his preliminary engineering report for USDA, and it's been done, it's been submitted. But USDA can't start a search grant which pays him the $30,000 to do these two reports. They can't start it until 2021 actually gets here, and so he can't get paid for what he does, and he's okay with that. He's already told me it's not a problem. I have borrowed money on where I'm getting paid. He's got all that control. So yes, he will get paid for it. It'll be in his budget for engineering the project.
Somewhere.
Yeah, whether it's for USDA or whether it's for Texas Water Association.
So when we talked the other day, we have the wastewater plant that's coming up. And we know that's going through. That's what we just found out, that everybody's bill's going up to $12.50. And so that was her main concern, is we haven't the 2.7 million. And I'm like her when I'm looking at a 40-year loan with the water,
USDA.
or the one that's on the one at your
Sewer.
office, not the sewer,
Oh,
but
the other one, okay.
Cut.
yes.
Yeah.
That was a 40-year loan.
And it went up $24, wasn't that what we?
It went up 26,
And see,
24, 50, 24.
And it was a what, 3.39 for 40 years.
Is it 40 years?
I'm almost
No, it's 30.
30, okay. But then this is 7 for 20. We just increased up 1250.
Well, something, since we're talking about that, I've been speaking with the financial planners, well, I guess that's a term, a financial advisor that the bond council brought on, Mr. Maha. Anyway, he's working on the application. He's got access to all of our city records through Municipal Advisory Council. And looking at, just today I sent him the worksheet that Gayla gave us about our tax revenue. And him, and I don't really know that I am speaking really like I totally understand it, but the gist of what this financial advisor was telling me today is that it looks to him that since the CUF system is being funded strictly from the water revenues, from the rate increase that was passed back in 2014, and I told him, yeah, that does make the payments on that every year. Those are pretty much just whatever that 30% water rate increase is, that's what makes the payments. He said that because we have a debt portion to our ad valorem taxes, so there's two parts to the taxes. There's maintenance and operation, that's about 57 cents per 100. And we also have a debt service ratio, which is charging taxpayers about 36 cents right now to pay on that same debt. So he's saying you do have a potential real problem in that a taxpayer may be able to bring action against you for charging that tax and then paying for it out of revenues. And I told him that the revenues that were being charged on that were somehow, I really don't understand it, because that's something that Derek has always answered with Gayla. But long and short of it is, it may not be necessary for the city to do a rate increase to cover that 2.7 million at all, because we're already collecting that revenue on ad valorem tax. Or if we did have to do that, this financial advisor is telling me that we wouldn't want to do like a 100% paying it off of a rate increase. We'd want to do as small a rate increase as we could get away with and use that tax revenue to pay it off. Because like I've been telling you, we always wind up with extra money at the end of every year. And that's probably why. So we may not have to, we may not, I don't know that and I don't want to say it for certain, but it looks to me, from what I understand over taking care of the books these years and from speaking to these bankers, we may not have to raise them by $5. We may be able to get away with $1 or $2 and still be able to completely afford the project. But I'll find out more and I'll let you know as I do find out more.
Okay,
Because we need all this.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of.
A lot of towers desperate.
And speaking with Chad, you know, I asked him, you know, in his professional opinion, which way, you know, would be better for us to go on with USDA or to try to get this. And he said it would be better to go with Texas Water Development.
Okay, so see,
He said-
everything's changed since. you
Yeah.
and I talked. Okay.
So he said that it would be better if we could get a $3 million grant.
Grant, right.
And he works
And
with
then
both
so
of
the
them.
USDA,
And see Dayla, when I talked to her, she told me that we weren't ready, that we needed to back off, we needed to hold up, that the funds aren't there yet, that
on the
on the
USDA.
the application.
And that's the one that we've been working on for
Yeah.
a while and was,
Yeah.
wait, okay, so things have changed. since
So
we've been
things have
talking.
changed,
Okay.
yes.
And we don't have to get her approval to go with this today.
No, not at all. All I have to do is tell her that we, decided to go with Texas Water Development Board, and we're not gonna take out the loan, and she'll say, okay, delete, and we're done.
And that's for the water tower and what else was that?
It's for water tower, water storages, water lines,
Like the one you said on the main highway?
yes. Some other things.
Heads up.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I brought that up because it has changed since.
No, I'm glad you did.
She said, yeah, it sounds like, because you got a better understanding
Yes,
than just,
Because we were worried about
See,
how we were gonna pay.
yes.
Strap the
that was
extra
my-
money
That
on
was my
to
big
the
concern.
taxpayer.
That was my big concern. I mean, because I'm the one that has to,
you take the heat off.
yeah,
You raise my water.
and I'm the one that has to cut off people's pay, water and make payment plans with them, and I can see how people are struggling.
You're suffering.
And it would just be a shame to have water bills so high that people have to move to Seminole.
They're
to
pretty
be able
high
to-
over
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
they
They wouldn't
are.
want to do that because they can't afford a house.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can't live over there. They won't live in
but
apartments.
it's much clearer to me, and I'm glad I could tell y'all.
Okay.
Dan knows the numbers and figures out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do we want to do first?
Thought I had two different things.
How about parks and recreation? I know, does this still include Larry and,
I want to, that was one of the things, I don't have a printout that Dan did whenever he did all his totals for parts, but I have my own, so I can, find it might be a little different else, but it shouldn't be.
okay. So we're just gonna go down line item like we've done in the past. We are showing under parks that you have salaries, we had 60,000 and we have asked for 69,280.
But you've only spent 31,564.
Okay, well, I added, I have two employees for the Parks Department,
Who is it?
Larry and Johnny.
Larry and who?
Johnny.
Right.
Mhm. And then everything past theirs is gonna be the pool salaries, and I don't have that information. Just what Dan has provided. And I think a lot of theirs is because they didn't have the pool open that long this year.
Is it closed already?
It's close to the public. We've got it open because the football team is coming in there for a party tomorrow morning. So after tomorrow, then we'll start shutting it down.
So do you know what Larry's payroll and Johnny's payroll?
I should have brought it with me. I'm sure Dan.
Dan, do you have that?
You would like to know what Larry earns?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. He makes $15.40 an hour. And that is about 32,000 a year.
Okay.
So the increase here that you've asked for Larry and Johnny for rate increase.
And what about Johnny?
Johnny, let's see here. Johnny's been with the city quite a bit longer, but let me see.
Yeah, we had.
No, Johnny earns roughly the same, 32,947.
15 is 65,000.
Okay, and so overtime, we haven't used very much, but do we need to keep that into place? Looks like the year before, we did have some overtime.
Was that the, no, that one before.
I don't know what the overtime is right now, and I've had 4 summer hands, and not all of them were paid out of the park. 2 of them were paid out of the park, and I don't know what the actual figures for that is for this year.
But
There isn't much overtime out of anything that Renee has control on. She uses comp time, and our policy, the policy manual stipulates that comp time will be accumulated up to a maximum of 80 hours, and then we pay them out for it. So if they ever exceed 80 hours of comp time is accumulated at time and a half, but they're paid out at regular time. So it all comes out of regular time.
You want to keep the 500?
Yes. What do y'all think? Y'all
I think so,
yeah.
just-
So materials and supplies, looks like we're right at that for the year, so 4,000 looks good to me. Y'all speak up if anyone wants to change.
Well, I wanted just to say that I thought really hard about putting money in there for Christmas decorations. But I decided to go ahead and just back off because at this point, we don't have a sufficient electric sources for some really good Christmas decorations. And I was kind of, hoping that we were going to be able to get that downtown revitalization thing. Didn't know. We didn't have enough time. And
They qualify.
yeah, well, we qualified, but they didn't have enough time to submit it. We didn't get it until late, and it just didn't work out. The deadline was September 1st, so we're just going to try again next year. And that's one of the things that we're asking for in that, to get dedicated electric service and on the light poles.
And that's something Excel would need to do?
No, we have to pay for that.
Well, we're not even close to looking but your budget for last year was 173,000 and you've only used 87,000. Is that
Again, we
something-
didn't do a lot at the pool.
I know, but is that something you could do in this budget year?
As far as the electrical stuff,
Yeah.
I don't think that I
wouldn't think
could,
so.
You couldn't get
not for it to be billed in this fiscal year.
You'll tell them what that'll cost. And
Be expensive.
20,000.
I wouldn't even begin to guess.
Okay. All right, I just,
And I had put some money in there to do some electrical work at the baseball field. Half our lights don't work there, and I've told some guys to go look at it, which they have, but they never did get prices back. I don't know if they got busy or what. But I was kind of thinking I might do that for this year's budget.
okay. They've been having some softball games. Yeah.
Well, they were, and we had some people signed up for it, but the lights would
Wouldn't
stay
softball-
on
wouldn't-
consistently, so they just signed out of it.
Okay, so for materials and supplies on utilities, and,
Why is that you need 20,000 and you only use 397?
that's on utilities.
I would never use more than 7,800. We do?
I may have put that down there because I'm thinking that the actual street lights should be coming out of this fund instead of out of the water sewer fund. I think street lights should come out of the parks department. I think that's why I put that on there.
So you think we'll find a big deal over? Okay, okay.
I think that's why.
We'll just hang on. Why don't we just,
Okay, so I'm gonna put street lights.
something.
Okay. And And then we're at chemicals and fertilizer. We left it at 2,000 right at, so I don't see anything wrong with that.
The street lights, well,
We changed something up.
we took it out.
We can disconnect.
Shut it off.
What? Street lights.
The street light, the both decorative ones that were down there.
Yeah, we had them off and, they were doing something. Somebody was doing something over there and they turned on the lights and turned them back off, but they're off now. Somebody turned them on for some reason. Can't even remember. Larry was telling me, but I don't remember. Somebody accidentally turned them on. Oh, the county. It was the county. They were doing something down there and they had turned them on. But they're all, yeah, we leave them on.
Okay, chemicals and fertilizer, to me, that looks good. Y'all, again,
No.
speak up if you see anything you need to
Good
learn.
to me.
Insecticides, current budget, we haven't used any, but looks like,
I didn't buy any. I have plenty.
okay.
I haven't bought any.
So it might be something you might need to repurchase next year.
Yes, I'm sure we will.
Oh,
Fuel, if we budgeted 3,000, but you're using half of that this time, because we didn't use but about 1,079 so far.
And we got new trucks and they're a lot more fuel efficient.
Okay. Uniforms, you used 500, or you asked for 500.
I think maybe I missed putting the account number whenever I bought them shirts and didn't take Larry's and Johnny's out of the parks department.
Okay.
It was all taken out of the water fund.
Okay. And so building repairs is also at 500. Automobile and equipment repairs, 1,500. Workers' comp, 2,500. Contract services, 2,000.
well, according to the year, she spent $32.48 on workman's comp.
I don't know.
So that would be
about those numbers.
$38.97. So we need to,
And then at the bottom down here, in item 437 is pool salaries.
Right. I didn't put anything in there. I don't deal with that. I don't know what.
there's figures in
Yeah, I didn't.
there. Okay.
So Cindy, when you take that, to make sure on the workers' comp, add that 15,655 with it.
Let me get my eyes adjusted. Oh, so, workman's comp. There's nothing on the polls, workman's comp.
No, she's saying add that full salary to,
Oh, 15,655 to 31,564. That's 47,219.
And so
But we
divide,
had 96,000 in the budget for that. See, according to this, we budgeted 36,000 for pool salaries.
but like, it's like Renee said, the pool wasn't open for, hardly the month of May. And so normally, it probably, I don't think it'd be that much, but that's probably
I
why
can't
you lowered it
imagine
to
it.
25,000. You didn't put it
Like I
in
said,
that.
I didn't put it in.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay. We do know we have full salary, so I think we need to leave it.
25.
But let's go back up here because we were trying to look at workers' comp.
Yeah, workman's comp, the 32, we budgeted 2,500, we spent 3248 in 10 months, so times 12, that'd be 3897, so you think we need to increase that?
I do, especially, is some pool, do you take workers' comp out for that if they're part-time?
I bet you do.
Okay.
No,
I
they
bet you
can,
do.
whether they're part-time or full-time, if they're injured, they're gonna get workman's comp. And Parks Department is charged at a fairly high rate because it's physical in nature. And also working with equipment.
So what do y'all think? Increase that up $1,000 or even to
I would do,
4,000?
I would do 4,000.
Okay, so we are looking at workers' compensation increasing it from 2,500 to 4,000. And then, contract services, we've spent 1,200, 2,000, you doubled it, but that's, we did go over, so I don't have a problem with that. Social Security and Medicare. Something
Oh, we
there.
gotta have something there, and that's based at 7.65% of your salary, so. Say 65,000. Well, if you pick up the pool, what do you want me to do? Just the salaries at the top or?
I
at
would
the
do
It's down there
90.
at the bottom. too.
I do the 96.
Oh, it is separate, okay. Well, we're gonna do it separate. Kendra's right. Okay, 65,000. That's 49.72, so we better put in 5,000.
Where are we at? I'm sorry, I've lost.
We
my
are on
place.
retirement contribution, 432. And you know, that's based on salary. 10.68 or 86, what was it yesterday?
2.8.
That's 69.42.
So 7,500 is good.
7,500.
What do we do with Medicare, Social Security, above it?
Oh,
5,000.
5,000.
Okay,
So,
so 7,500 is good? Okay. And so health insurance expenses,
why would that be any more? More than double from what we've already spent. We budgeted 16.5 and we've spent 11.21.
workers' comp, or anything.
At 25.
Health insurance.
I don't put that stuff in. Dan does that.
Okay.
And on the health insurance, we budgeted 16,500 last year. 25,800 has been plugged in. Do you know why?
Let me take a look. We're only talking about the 2 full-time employees.
13,000, and
Yeah,
we probably are too.
I guess so.
Well, when I figured that,
Health insurance for Johnny is $1,004 a month. And for Larry, $1,099. So about 24,000, 25,000 seems right to me.
Okay. Goodness, we got that Cadillac. Okay, and then capital outlay, we budgeted 12,000, haven't used any. Do we know what we had put on that? Were we
was that
buying
any
something?
was that a vehicle or something? Do you consider one vehicle parks? You've got fuel up there.
That's what I have for your pickup. From last year. So is
Well,
one of
we-
them,
We bought pickup, so.
so that's probably what that is, it's just nothing's
Nothing is
being
being
applied to. Which pickup do they use?
That's number 12.
Dan,
Yes.
the Parks Department, we had budgeted 12,000 on capital outlay. That is that number 12 pickup. That's the payments for it, and we're not showing that we budgeted or we paid them underneath this code.
No, I'm not aware of a special, apply. I don't know how okay, the pickups that we bought in the last batch that we bought, that all came from Lawrence Harvey. Is that one of the pickups we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, those are all financed on the same note, and we make the payment to the same bank once a month. It's $1,607. So if there's a portion of that that should be broken out from the water department, from the Fund 20, and put into Fund 10 in the Parks Department, we'll have to do the math on that, go back and make an audit adjustment or well, it would be an audit adjustment for this year, and then begin charging it that way. So there'd be like, of that $1,607 a month, let's say we would be paying $900 or $1,200 from Fund 20 for water, and then the other portion goes to parks. But that's not the way it's set up now, and that's not the way it's been charged. It's the first time I've ever even considered it. I didn't ever think about Larry having a dedicated truck or anything like that. So, but that would be the proper way to do it, and we should, yes, that we really should break it out and do it that way.
Okay, Renee, on your, the water and sewer, expenses, whereas most of your budget and everything, on the capital outlay down there, we have year to date spent $72.50. We didn't budget anything.
And I can't tell you where it went. I have no idea.
Can you tell us that, Dan, on capital outlay on the water and sewer, the $72.50?
Capital outlay on water and sewer?
Year to date is $72.50.
So the pickup for Fox is number 20. Yeah, 2019.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand your question. I don't even find a capital outlay fund for
Well,
water sewer.
that's all part of my,
Oh, there it is. Yeah, capital outlay. 7250 has been spent on that, and you'd like to know what that's for?
yes, sir.
Okay, just give me a minute.
See on mine, it's 16,250.
Well, maybe yours just run together and it's got a
This one
No,
says
this
August
one-
the 31st. This one says July 31st.
yeah.
The miscellaneous expense, I see that's good to stay at 1,500. For salaries, I understand why we not dropped it down to the 15,000 because we were hoping in May, so I think that would be good. Is that
We don't know.
for material and supplies?
I would leave it at 5,000. We've already spent 21 on this short.
For utilities?
That is an old figure. What had happened on capital outlay was, working from Jackie's notes, I've been paying Jeanette Hadaway for the water lease out of that fund. I discovered that earlier and I adjusted that away. And excuse me, yes, sandblasting and painting was taken out of capital outlay, $7,250. When you get the tank sandblasted and painted, that's what that's from.
Is that when we fixed the water tower? Whenever we had the water?
Yes, that is. It's let me look at the invoice here.
For Otis?
Okay, so then we have two pickups that we pay $1,600 a month for, right? Is that what he said?
Three.
Three pickups for $1,600 or 800 times two.
I thought he said
Well,
1,600.
out of that fund, he pays for 3 pickups, actually 4 pickups and 2 backhoes.
On the
That
water
he
sewer.
pays. Yeah, I think they're all coming out of that one fund.
What would we got one?
16,000, he says, a month, right?
No, he said 1,600 for two pickups.
He said 16,000. I may have misunderstood.
Is that under the notes payable?
Yeah, that's under. That's good.
that what those?
So was it 1,600 for 2 pickups from Lawrence Hall?
Yeah, we're paying a bank called, I forget the name of them. We're paying this bank both for the Tahoes and for the fleet that we got for Renee. The Tahoes were purchased from a Chevy dealer, and these were all purchased from Lawrence Harvey. Then there's also another loan for the truck that I believe Renee drives, and that's paid directly to Ford Motor Credit each month. And they all come out of the same debt reduction or debt service. But getting back to that, if we purchased 4 pickups from Lawrence Harvey at one time, then we ought to just split that into, 3/4 for water sewer and 1/4 for parks, if that's what it is. But I have to look and see, or Renee, I'm sure you know how many you got from Lawrence Harvey earlier this year.
And yes, there's 3 pickups.
3? So then we divide it into thirds, and 2/3 to water and 1/3 to parks.
How much do we pay a month on those notes for each truck?
Well, the 3 trucks together, we're paying $1,607 a month. They're not split out individually. So we're going to have to go back, since we started paying this to, let's call it Sundown Bank, and then go back and credit that fund and debit water sewers debt reduction for that one truck, since it started, and then continue to hit them each month instead of all 3 from water sewer.
That's what one pickup is. So this 12,000 that we have on capital outlay for parks, let's put 7,000.
Okay, so we're gonna do 7,000 into that capital outlay on parks.
All right, then.
And that's gonna be one of those pickups, so it's about $538 a month, $540 a month. If you're dividing.
Well, I'll do the math and make the adjustments, and as soon as I get a chance to go back to the contracts and find out when we started paying them. It's been a matter of 5 months, maybe 4 or 5 months.
The only thing is, and I'm jumping ahead, but in this water and sewer, we've got notes payable that probably a lot of that's going into.
Yeah.
It's 39,166.
That's what he just said.
So,
That's where it's coming out
so
of.
that's where it's
And
coming out
that's
of.
probably backhoes as well.
All of them, yeah, your Kubota.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. And there's going to be kind of a big hit that's going to happen because Caterpillar still hasn't come up with a lease. I've been working with Caterpillar Financial, and they still haven't come up with a payment or anything. So when they finally do, I know they're going to want 3 or 4 months worth of payments all at once.
Okay, so
That's not good.
while we're
Cool.
talking about the on the water and sewer, those pickups y'all are saying is being paid under notes payable,
Mhm.
and that should just be 2 pickups,
Not
and then the backhoe, because we're putting 1 pickup on the park.
Well, don't. Notes payable is paying for one of the things that's charged against notes payable is those 3 pickups. Then there's the pickup that Renee drives that's payable not to Southside Bank, but is payable to Ford Motor Credit at $692 a month. That comes out of there. And then there's the lease to Kubota for the little backhoe. And we're also going to have the lease for the big backhoe when it finally comes around again. And we have been making payments on that lease right up until now.
Okay, Dan, here's what we're trying to tell you. We're working on Parks Department right now.
Yeah,
We budgeted under capital outlay $12,000. That is one of the 4 pickups that we're paying. So
I
we need to start, I know you're paying them all together, 3 of them, and then you're paying Ford Motor Credit for the other one.
Yeah,
3 that you're paying, one of them needs to be charged to capital outlay under Parks Department.
I understand.
Okay, let me finish. Then the 2 other ones that are not Ford Motor, they're all of these 3 that you're paying together, the 1,607, it needs to go to notes payable under the Water and Sewer Department.
Yes,
You're paying for 3 out of there.
I
Then the,
understand.
then the one that you're paying to Ford Motor Credit Corp, it needs to just go to the Sewer Department.
So that one you want to move to sewer department along with all this other new, because sewer department is a brand new fund. And so this is the time to get all of that stuff ironed out. Whatever vehicles are going to be in sewer, we need to start charging to sewer. Right now, and until we go into the next year, we're operating under water, sewer as one fund. In October, we're breaking them out to water and then sewer. That's when we can start making those changes.
Okay, so you've told us what you're making the payment for the 3 vehicles.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what you were paying just Ford Motor Credit Corp.
Yeah, 690.
$692 a month.
All right, so, okay, that's my fault. Now we can move on. So we did put $7,000 under capital outlay for Parks Department.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've gone all the way down. We're at pool utility, and that's the phone.
It's been no money. We're gonna leave 1,000 in there.
Okay. Do you know that they have a landline?
They do have one, but I don't think she connected it this year.
She just used her cell
No,
phone.
she did. Actually, I'm sorry. I've only paid 1 bill on it. It's $90. We'll probably pay 1 more bill at about 30. I'm gonna have it shut off as soon as the high school is finished.
Okay, let's drop that to 500.
500, yeah, I agree.
Even if she uses it for
Next year.
4, yeah. Pool chemicals, we have it at 5,000, and we went over. Is
You
that-
got a lot of pool chemicals left.
You know, my numbers are not matching y'all's numbers at all. I don't know what's going on.
What are
there.
you showing that we've spent?
3,220, no wait. With pool chemicals?
Mhm.
440.
I show 1,393, but I think that there's probably a couple of bills that haven't been paid yet.
So what were you budgeting? What were you asking for?
Oh, this is for pool chemicals. Yeah, there's probably another. I ordered acid and chlorine twice, and I think it's about $2,000 each one. So
those could be
there's
big.
probably $5,000 worth.
Okay. Okay, and then pool building repairs, we set it at 3,000. Is that right?
Yeah, and I've probably got $2,000 worth in it.
So it's just showing $90. So.
And I've got some bills that
Oh,
will be going
okay.
in this
Okay.
month.
Okay, pool workers comp.
Well, when you take that 25,000,
Gosh, I didn't see that when we were doing the other one. I'm sorry, y'all.
well, that's, you would have it so. I don't know how they, I'm sure it's pretty high, but it's only for a few months. You know, about $1,000 covered.
Okay, let's leave that, and let's leave Medicare, because we don't have anything to go by. Do you have anything?
Well, when you do,
I don't.
if we do 25,000,
I mean, the only figures that are in mine is 1,000.
that's
$1,000, $3,000.
$1,912. If you base it on 25,000.
25,000, so we need to increase that one up to
2,000.
2,000.
Why we
It's
have-
never had anything paid out of it, so that's probably
It's
just
running-
not, it's somewhere else.
So
It's
you
in-
just wanna leave that 1,000 there or whatever? The next one's kinda weird too, cause it's full capital outlay and it says 1,300. That could be her chemicals. And she thought she'd already spent 1,300.
No,
These are all new for me. I wish they weren't even, I wish they were a separate category.
Oh,
Not
you
on
mean-
Parks Department.
Yeah. Things for the pool, because I don't have any control over their salaries or
No.
what's, their Medicaid or insurance or anything. So I just let Dan do those.
Yeah.
So Dan, where do you think that stuff's going on the pool salaries?
Where are the pool salaries going?
Yeah.
There's an item for pool salaries and they're all set up. That's where they're paid from. It's at about $20,000 after the payroll today.
but there's no workers' comp or social security or anything like that being taken
Well,
out of it.
Social Security, Medicare, Workman's Comp, that's all. Well, Social Security and Medicare, that's a function of our IRS. And yes, that applies to every employee. There's a certain percentage of their salary that we pay on that.
Right, but there's we have line items for that, but there's nothing being deducted from them, charged to them.
Well, that's something when Mr. Holler gets here, I'm hoping he's able to get here. I'm going to have him address that. These are some fine-tuned things within the Encode software that have to be taken care of.
We're wasting our time. I just say leave it.
It would be pretty hard to take your payroll.
If you're trying to figure it for the purposes of your budget right now, working on the pool budget, then apply whatever that math is. I think I heard Cindy mention 7-point-some% of whatever the salaries should be allocated to Social Security, Medicare, and factor that in and put it in place. I'm sure that at the end of our audit period, there'll be an adjustment for that. And hopefully we'll have those fine-tuned differences split out in Encode by October as well.
Didn't you have to buy a new refrigerator?
I did.
I mean, that's like.
Six.
That's 1,300 something.
I think I put it in building maintenance. And it was like $650.
Well, there's just
There's nothing in
$300
building maintenance.
So the only thing we changed was workers' comp to 4,000. We changed Social Security to 5,000.
No, we didn't change workman's comp to 4,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
Up
we
above.
did.
But,
Oh, up here. Oh,
Yes,
I
I'm
forgot
sorry, I
about
was just
pool.
going down
Okay.
through.
I thought we were still talking pool. Okay.
And then down at the medical, Social Security and Medicare, we checked 5,000. We left everything until we got down to capital outlay. One pickup, we changed it from 12,000 to 7,000.
Mhm.
And then,
We dropped your phone.
yeah, the phone from 1,000 to 500, and everything else will stay the same.
except Social Security, Medicare.
Yes,
Yeah,
2,000 and 2,000, correct? Okay. Okay, so we've got one good.
I hadn't been
That's the
playing
easy
this
one.
in yet.
Oh, my gosh.
And
Do we have to do anything on sanitation? Okay.
let's see. No, because it more than supports itself. It's got 40,000, close to $40,000. So it's. Okay, so then we have
So
just 4 left, the 2 cups and sewer, plant and water and sewer and so wastewater. So what do we want to do?
Cup,
The 2
let's do the
cups?
cup.
Okay. Which one are you gonna do first?
You do it this time.
No,
No, no.
Wait, this is revenues, and
That's
this
what I'm
is,
having. on my
and
revenue.
this is expenditures. Okay, so let's do the cuff system expenditures. Oh. Well, materials and supplies, we spent 1,127, 2,000, that looks good, doesn't it? Utilities, we budgeted 24,000, we spent 94,24, so she's put 20.
But you've got to
You're
consider the fact that it hasn't run.
part.
So,
How would you, this 9,400, how, 10 months, how many months do you think it's run? Half?
probably a little less than that.
Okay, so it's probably good.
And just the reason I say that is because I'm with someone all day on the cuff system today. And if everything goes well, whenever he leaves tomorrow, it will stay running. It doesn't have to talk. Okay.
Chemicals,
I would,
leave that at 25. You had it at 40 last year. You spent 65, 25,
Right.
and you lowered it to 25 this year.
I put 25 because I think $20.
We say what, if you have another figure, what you put in, make sure and tell us.
Yeah. Safety equipment, $500, I suppose. Contract services, automation. You think you need the 5,000?
I think I'm probably gonna need it. Yes.
Miscellaneous expenses, 500, always. Lab fees, 2,000 gonna cover that.
Yes. I've got a lot of that.
So we didn't change anything. on that.
Yeah, I think this one's fine.
So you went from 74,000 to 55,000. Okay.
A lot of contract services, some of them that, and like I said, I probably put the wrong account numbers in them. But I've got a lot of contract services in water and sewer. You on the water fund, you'll see, and probably half of them should have been in this.
Come here, okay.
No, I'm just looking at this revenue stuff now. That's way over, of course. I guess that could be. We thought we would get 895,500, and we've got 674 and 108. But you've lowered it. Someone has lowered its expectations for this coming budget year. You might need to look into that, all those figures, what that
And
is.
you're talking about the
Revenue. Yeah, revenue. Okay, I thought we had another little one.
There's street maintenance.
Wastewater was little, it's not quite as little as it was.
Well, I got 2 big ones.
Yeah. Wastewater, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right, it is big. But there are a lot of
There's
new things.
Yeah, and a few things can be marked off of here.
Okay,
Which one we doing first, just the wastewater fund or the wastewater plant?
It really should just say wastewater and not plant, because this covers collection, lift stations, and the wastewater plant. It should just say wastewater.
okay, so okay, I see that your salary was nothing last year, you're requesting 68.
Right.
Is that lower, it's from lower over here on the
That,
water and sewer?
yes.
Okay,
And so I'm taking 2 employees
okay,
out of the water and the sewer, and putting it in.
Okay, so
to
who are
just
your
wastewater.
two employees here?
Manuel Martinez, Angel Triana.
Do we know what their salary is? Angel
Triana.
Dan, do we know what Manuel Martinez and Angel Triana, what their salary is?
I believe Manuel's is like 22 or 23.
He's the one we gave a raise last year.
Yes, because he's licensed.
Manual's salary is $45,760. And Angel, just a moment.
Started.
Angel is 31,002.
Right on the money. So that's 76,960. So then, y'all would out at 77,000. Round it up.
Yes.
Are we sure? What? Angel is 45?
He's, he's licensed and yeah.
Yeah, but 45? $14,000 more than, I mean, I'm asking because,
Well, Manuel has 5-6 years of experience. He's backhoe operator.
we have
he's a
cops that don't
crew
make that.
leader. Well, he's licensed. Like, he's
Oh,
good people.
No, I'm not complaining about his pay. I'm trying to compare it to
see,
some other stuff.
okay,
It just,
right.
it jumped
I see
out
what
at me.
you're
It just
saying.
seems a little extreme.
Well,
And
Angel's
it's
on-
not close to your figures, so I thought, well, maybe
Well,
we
I guess I
we
just-
screwed up
missed it.
somewhere. I'm not
I'm sorry.
complaining about Manuel's salary.
Well, Angel just started, and he started at 15 an hour. Angel got, he was one of them that got the pool operator's license, which he just did. He hadn't even worked 30 days, he got it. And as soon as he meets his time, then I'm gonna be sending him to school to get his license. And he'll be getting his salary bumped up. You know. It just
Okay,
takes a little time.
it jumped out at me. I'm not
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not questioning Manuel whatsoever.
I did this kind of a hurry, y'all. I'm sorry, I didn't do a very good job.
So let's find them. Okay, let's see, tools. Did you put that 1,000 in there for tools?
Yes.
Okay. You don't need no postage in this department.
No.
Materials and supplies, we have a 5,027 charged to that, is that
I think.
5,000? Telephone, you've got it up from, we've been doing 10,000, but it's 3,575 spent, and you've got it at 10,000.
Well, I didn't.
And you didn't.
I didn't.
It's not
know.
telephone, it's utility.
Oh, you're right.
And
Let me get my-
actually, I
Okay.
was advised to, oh, I thought I turned that out. I was kind of advised that I needed to go by Chris Neal's,
Oh,
and I had put 0 because I don't have a phone out there. But I was kind of told to follow along with Chris Neal's budget, and he had put 5,000 in there, so I wrote in 5,000 on mine.
okay, you, on telephone.
Yeah. But y'all do what y'all want to do
I
with
mean,
that.
what, do you, will any expenses be taken out?
Maybe half of our phone bill from Verizon, because our on-call phone, is
Deals with
used
all of
for
them.
wastewater and.
So is 5,000 too much or not enough or
I don't know, what is usually our,
What's on the
Verizon
other?
bill.
What's your telephone?
We spent 32.
Yours is not much, Renee. Most of the Verizon is charged to the police department because of all of their hotspots and stuff. I think you guys have, what, 3 cell phones? 4
Yeah.
maybe cell phones, that's it? Let's call it $60 a month per phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds good.
Okay, utilities, electricity, that's where I got off. We've spent 35.75, and it's requested last year, or this year and next year for 10,000. Does that need to be still electricity at 10,000?
Well, I'm just trying to kind of foresee what we may be doing in the future as far as construction, lights, the electric stuff that we may have running out there at the last half of the year. I'm just trying to project what we might spend.
While they're out there working,
Yeah.
that's what you're, okay.
And not only that, is the, yeah, exactly.
Is it gonna be an increase in electricity? It shouldn't be.
Yes,
Will
yeah,
it?
I think it will
Because
be.
it's gonna go further.
Because there's gonna be more devices out there, more equipment. And they will be electric.
Will it have like a SCADA system, I mean, per
Yes,
se?
yes,
Okay.
I'm.
Okay, all right, I'm
There's
sorry.
Ooh, are we in a
electronic meter and
Okay.
Did you request 5,000 pipes, valves, and fittings? 3,000, 3,000.
yes.
Okay.
And the reason why is because right now, all of that stuff comes out of the water budget and it's for sewer pipe, manhole
You're
lids,
just trying to move some stuff over to
saddles,
this.
right.
Okay.
And I deducted from the other.
Meters.
Yes,
It's
I put in there for 1 meter because
oh yeah, you know. Chemical additives, 2,500. That good?
Probably.
Insecticides, 1,500.
yeah, I was just trying to split it up because we spray mosquitoes and flies out of the wastewater plant. You may not need it. If you use mosquito dunks, they're kind of expensive. Herbicides to keep the mosquitoes from that.
Street repairs and paving, do we need anything in that since we got those street? When you tear out.
When
place.
we make taps, when we go back in.
Street signs, $500.
Yeah, we put signs out there, no trespassing,
Fuel,
no drinking the water, and stuff like that.
That's one of the things that you
Needless
say,
Spanish.
here's your sign.
Yeah.
Okay. 300 for uniforms. $1,000 building repairs.
Surely there won't be much for that first.
No, well, at some point, we've got a small building at our yard that's used at the ballpark, and we're gonna take it out there. Because once they get through, they're gonna tear down all that old building and all that stuff. We're just gonna take one out there for tools and rakes and scrapers and stuff like that, so we may have to put a roof on it.
This may be jumping the line right now, but what is our plans as far as the Mailer land cleaning
Well,
Just turn your head.
yeah, well, no. I have not been in the trailer part. Me and the guys went out there and looked at the house part. It's in pretty bad
Oh,
shape there. I mean, I don't think y'all can do anything with it, except y'all. But I'm just thinking about tearing it down. I mean, if you want to sell it and to move,
Stuff though, I wouldn't think you could I bet, and it's been there for
It's
75
yeah,
years
it's
probably.
it's in pretty bad shape. And then there's some outbuildings that we might could utilize. There's a lot of metal, a lot of junk, a lot of cleaning up. There's be some fences that will be taken down. And, you know, some fences will be put
Well,
up.
anything, I mean, junk iron's not a great price, but anything we can,
Well, right
junk
now,
iron.
yeah, right now I have made a deal with Jarvis Metals or Brownfield Recycling. And they put us 2 big roll-offs out at our wastewater plant.
oh,
And as we have time, we go out there and we load them. And they come and pick them up and then they pay us.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't amount to a lot, but it's better than us having to pay them.
that's right, and it's cleaning up.
Yes. And we're trying to prepare for when construction starts.
Auto and equipment repairs, you put 5,000 in there? There's been 3885 expenses.
I need to buy some tires for the current tractor.
You got it in your budget now?
You know, the tractor is actually used in the parts department, but I think we're gonna need it before we actually get a tractor with this. I'm hoping we get a tractor. I put that in that loan with USDA.
To leave out there.
Our tires,
But you don't have it, I'm asking, you don't have any extra money before the end of the year
I may have,
to buy those?
but I kind of had some plans for that too.
Oh, okay. Okay. Travel 1,500, you're gonna be sending if you get to schools.
Mhm. Hopefully let us go back to school soon.
Advertising and printing is 500 enough in this?
Yeah, it should be. I'm hoping I have to write any more letters telling people.
Dues and memberships, 200?
See, the next line I'm confused about because that's a new one. And I think Dan probably knows because I don't.
Legal fees, professional.
Oh, no, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
you're
I
talking
got
about the
ahead.
dues and memberships.
No, I'm talking about the
Debt reserve.
debt reserve.
Oh, okay.
Because I was thinking it's,
Like that's a new line.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that.
I didn't put anything on it.
It
Well,
says
I know it's about-
USDA required.
Yeah, I know it's about 14,000, I think it's about 14,500, something like that. Dan, is that right?
Let me pull up his notes on that.
Street lights, nothing. Insurance 1,900, what do you think that's for? Just out there, that extra land, do we gotta,
Well, if you're putting a pickup, isn't it what you wanted?
Yeah,
You wanted manuals.
but I don't know about the insurance. I don't.
Deborah, we'd have to add that to our policy.
That's what I'm just sitting on.
So-
What about,
He has a total of, the debt reserve that's required by USDA will be one annual payment. That's $145,000. And if I recall his presentation that he gave us, he was encouraging us to begin this rate increase as soon as possible and to accumulate that debt reserve as soon as possible and have one extra annual payment in debt reserve. We can move money from the general fund and create that debt reserve at any time. Just like we're going to be paying for the Mahler property out of the general fund to be reimbursed later, we can move that debt reserve over there and then pay that back to the general fund over time. So as far as a budget item, I would think let's just figure that we're going to accomplish that debt reserve in a period of, say, 5 years, and do the math on $145,000 based on 72 installments.
145,000 a year.
Divided by
Just a total of 145,000 to be maintained in the debt reserve account. That debt reserve is in case we have a bad year, and that would cover one annual payment on the bond, $145,000.
How many years is that 145,000?
That's one payment.
Oh, but how many?
You said 5 years divided by 5?
Yeah, what I'm saying is we can fund that debt reserve account in full out of the general fund. Just move $145,000 to it, and then repay the general fund over a period of 5 years to build that debt reserve back up, repay the general fund from the sewer increase over a period of about 5 years.
Oh, yeah, divide that by five.
29,000.
Okay, I thought it was
10% of what?
I thought it was 14,500. I thought it was 10% of the annual payment. I messed up. I was just
That would be 10%.
not right, apparently.
So we need to put something there, how much?
Do we need to divide that by 5? So every year for the next 5 years, we need to budget
Yeah, that would be
$29,000.
the way. Or if you determine that you'd rather take 10 years to repay the general fund out of that, what USDA requires, as I understand it, is that we have a debt reserve of $145,000. That's their requirement. Mr. Neal encouraged that we should have that within the first year, I think. So that would be a pretty big budget item for you to put in there. I'm just saying that we have the revenue, and borrowing money between funds in the same government, that's fine. It can be done that way. The general fund can loan them that, and then they can repay the general fund over whatever you want to do, however you want to set it up.
When are we going to start the increase?
You see, the thing is that the water, sewer, all of that, that is the enterprise portion of your government. That's the business. That is a for-profit business that the city operates and owns. So we're loaning this business $145,000. That business is going to have to repay the city. But the terms of that repayment, you can decide.
Okay.
Deborah, Kim, Shannon, everybody. If we're charging $12.50 starting with our budget year this year. And she said 850 customers. That's $10,625 a month.
Okay, that's the base charge. Now there's
But that's an increase
yes.
in that amount.
We know at least that.
And so that's
But
what
it
we're
could be
going,
more, but we may use, okay.
Yeah. but yeah, that's the base amount. We're gonna get extra starting in October. So times 12, I mean, that's 127.5.
That's
And that's what this
And we're
120.
saying we needed 29,000. We're gonna get like $127,000 the first 12
right,
months.
but you were saying, see, because that's why I'm confused, because I think on my, I didn't bring the paper, it's sitting right on my desk, I'm trying to remember what it says. From what I thought it said that the 127 something thousand was the annual payment, and then they wanted 10% of that put in the reserve fund. So I was thinking that it was supposed to be like 14,000 in the reserve fund. But he's saying it's 140.
I could be wrong. I might misunderstand that. It's just that the way that he wrote it in his estimate was that this debt reserve, and he came up with the figure $145,000 and said this is a requirement of the USDA, but let's ask Dayla. She'd
you
be the
find
one
that-
that would know.
That's not Dayla's deal. That was what Chris was doing.
Well, that's Chris isn't with the USDA, but You know,
Yep.
he's got the experience to know how these things are done. And his rate analysis was figuring that in. But that's a question for Dela. Let's ask her, how soon do we have to have that debt reserve 100% funded? And then we can make our decision. Because I really don't know. I'm going off of what Mr. Neal gave us on his for setting up all of this accounts, for all these accounts for water, for sewer. None of us know. This is, we're going to be learning.
Yes, sir.
When do you think we'll be in operation?
For what?
What's the-
Oh, they're hoping to break ground, December, January.
Okay.
They're,
But if in 12 months, starting 2 months from now, we start collecting that new figure, we'll have $127,500
by
extra
October next year.
by October of next year.
Just base.
I say, let's don't budget nothing in this. Because it's not gonna be nothing spent out of it the first year. So let's just let it build up somewhere, and like Dan says, he can then just move the money.
That makes sense. We're not actually going to be spending all of this money until we get the project finished, right? And we're doing this as an exercise to satisfy the bond. This is the requirement for the underwriters. They want to see that we have a separate fund and that it's self-supporting. So they're probably going to take a look at it in a year or two to see how it's working. So maybe we just should take Chris's recommendations on the budget amounts and then see how it plays out.
Well, no, because he's saying that they're gonna want to see something.
Oh. So 29,000.
29,000.
Okay. Okay.
I
Street
think I need a
lights,
break.
I do too.
street lights.
There'll be no street lights. I'm confused about street lights
Okay.
anyway.
Well,
I put zero, I'm striking it out.
and insurance, do you want to just leave?
Because I mean,
I
all
don't
it'll
know.
be now is general, there's be some liability out there.
I don't think this is, I think this is insurance for, I don't know what it's for. I can't.
I
I
mean,
don't
we
know why
own the
to put
land,
numbers in it.
we do have to show it. We do have to put it
Well,
on as
it'll be
general.
on TML.
I don't know what to, you know, what was
Did you put
complicated.
that amount in here?
I did, I wrote it. It's $1,900. I don't know why.
Looks sound like a good thing.
Yeah, I'm writing some numbers. And I don't know about all of these, about the health insurance or the workman's comp. I don't,
Lift station service, what would that consist of? Electricity?
no, that should be just in utilities, probably
Repairs?
pumps, repairs.
Did you write that in?
I don't remember. I mean, it's printed down on my sheet. I don't remember writing it in, but I may have.
1,500 for sewer plant repairs?
5,000.
No.
For my,
No,
No,
5,000 for the lift station.
Sewer plant repairs 15. Contract
Yeah.
services 5,000. We evidently spent 730. Is that like when you pay people to do the tanks or whatever?
That this is for, for like automation, because I don't have an automation line in here. This is what I paid the automators for, the guy that goes out and services the meter and does that kind of
Training
thing.
in schools. Okay, let's see. Social Security on 77,000 figures $5,890, so I bet we could just do 6,000. Retirement. That's gonna be pretty close, cause it was 77,000, and it was 1068 or 86.
Eight.
10.8. That's 8316. So we better bump that up to 85.
That's the 77.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Health insurance. Do you know what those two guys' health insurance is?
Dan,
Which two are they? Manuel and
Angel and me.
Mm-hmm. And
I
Angel.
think, yeah, let's see. Well, here's good news, young man. 484 for Angel and Manuel. That's per month, 484 per month. And Manuel, 539.
1,024. So 100 times 12 is 13,200. Let's just do that 14,000. What about that?
14,000 health insurance.
Health insurance. Water purchases, I guess. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Capital outlay, 15,000.
For the life of me, I don't know why.
Well, are you gonna have a vehicle
Yeah,
dedicated?
that's what.
Well,
you
we
did.
done accounted for all the
Yeah,
vehicles.
we did. We
But-
put that in.
But we didn't put it in this one.
Mm-mm.
Right, remember we put 2 in one in the other. And this is manual, this is 600.
Yeah, that's the high dollar.
Okay, so.
700.
Yeah, 700.
Times 12 is 8,400. So 8,500.
And that's under,
Capital outlay.
okay.
Miscellaneous expense, 1,500. Is that too much? Or not? Renee, did you put that in?
Yes.
Okay. Bad debt
No.
expenses, how in the world do we have anything in there?
I don't consider that what was on there.
Is that like if somebody don't pay? That's what I think it would be.
Dan would have to.
What do you do
explain
your
that.
bad debt expenses? What is that, Dan?
Charge-offs, utility account charge-offs.
See, when you look at the ones that are on just the water sewer fund, it's gone from, I mean, we've increased it.
We've got $300 in there, and it's still 10,000. Shoot, I say 2,500 would be done. Would you, or 2,000? I mean, if we get more, we just adjust it.
Yeah.
We need the bottom line to look better.
People jobs so they can pay their bills.
Yeah, we need people to get back to work. Yeah,
Jobs need to pay their bills.
What someone else say?
I said 2,000.
2,000.
Yeah.
Notes payable. See, that's where I
That's
wonder.
where we put the
that
picket.
pig got one pickup.
Well, we put it up here, so let's just take it
Yes.
out.
Mine cuts off and I don't have that on mine.
Okay.
So we're increase that up to 8,500.
Well, no, it's really a decrease because it was 15,000 in capital outlay.
Right, but
And
if
we
we're gonna
just-
move it down to, are we gonna do that? Move it down to notes payable or leave
Let's
it
do
in
it.
capital outlay?
Well, let's move it down.
It was 8,500, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
let's take that and off. Capital
That,
outlay.
that capital outlay, it's not a backhoe, anything like that that you're gonna be using out there.
Well, I actually,
Or is that a request?
I actually want, I don't know why I would have 50,000 capital. I cannot remember to save my life. But in between there, I have, the mayor kind of prompted me to ask for whatever it is that I want this year. Get it done, do it now, because I ain't gonna take the chances I want a road grader. I want a small road grader, and I've been checking them out, and they're quite expensive. They're a lot more expensive than a backhoe.
Oh, yeah. You know what, a new one's about $500,000.
The one
A
that I've
big one,
looked
like,
at,
yeah.
the one that I've looked at is $250,000. And it's with Cat Backhoe, and they do a 5-year lease plan. And payments they said the payments would probably be comparable to what we're paying on our backhoe.
Which is, do you know?
It's
1,000 and something.
Yeah, 1,000 and something. Right now, we're not making any payments because they won't get the paperwork right.
Let-
It kind of bothers me.
Well, that does me too, because we do a lot of business.
Yeah.
What would you do with a road
Yeah,
grader?
that's what I'm asking.
Okay,
That's what I
well-
want to ask you.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of streets with no curbs where we go in and put in caliche. And as it rains, they get sloppy. And it takes a lot of time with the backhoe. And it's not always perfectly level. And
Okay.
we have alleys that need to be graded something fierce. They ditch, growth
Yeah,
in
ours
the
is
middle.
terrible.
And we are fixing to, probably y'all will be seeing it soon, get some contracts with TxDOT, because TxDOT will be coming in here next year, and probably around February or March. And they're gonna start putting in some culverts under the highway and all the way down out to Maver, where the playa, the runoff water goes to.
Oh, they're gonna try to fix that.
They are to fix that.
Oh,
They're getting fixed. And
Thank goodness.
And one of the things in our contract is that they will take care of all the culverts, because they're going to put a trapezoidal. It's going to be concrete. There won't be no messing up.
They
And
put screens that they can keep them from stopping up, and they'll keep those cleaned out.
yes, well, I don't know if they'll keep them cleaned out, but
Oh, they may
they're
not.
going to put them.
Okay, well, I
but-
just want to ask you one thing.
Our part is to make the pond clean, to dig it out, because it's not been dug out in a long, long time. To dig it out and to keep it maintained.
Okay, I just want to ask you one thing. You know, that's what Tommy and I do
Yes.
for a living. That's what he grew up doing, maintain. They're a very complicated piece of machine. Do you have someone? Okay.
To be-
Okay. They're very complicated. And it's kind of like Tommy says, when somebody comes up and applies, said, I can run a maintainer, or, you know, I can drive a maintainer, you know, it's, you know. there's-
They're worth their britches.
Well, yes, but not only that, it's a precise machine. I mean, it maneuvers so many different ways. You can knock out houses.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Gas
can,
pick which meters.
block to go down and start knocking out houses?
well, but I mean, because that thing moves this way, it moves this way, and I mean, the blade itself, it surprised me. But now my husband, we built a 25-foot alley between our stalls and our barn, and I have it on video where he came in there because he didn't want to do it by hand, and it wasn't but 60 foot long and 20 foot wide. And I have where he come, the barn was built where he come in there and put that thing to grade for us to lay our rubber floor in there. And it just amazed me. Like I said, I grew up in it. That was never anything but it's a very complicated piece of machine.
And I'm sure those guys will have to practice.
Oh, yeah, they need to go somewhere out and away
We've
from things.
got a lot of land out there. They can go practice. on.
Okay,
So it is a grader that you're wanting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not for this 15,000. I don't know what the payments would
Oh, you don't
be.
want to stick that there?
Well, not unless, capital outlay, I guess that'd be a good place
Because
to
if we're
stick
putting
it.
the pickup under no pay, then that would be,
I don't know how much. I have no idea.
$24,000.
I hadn't got that far as far
Well, we
as.
better figure a little more than 1,000.
But that 15,000 that's in capital outlay, you don't know what that
I
is.
don't.
And you don't think it's, that we're
That's
missing something.
$15,000. When you do 1,250 times 12.
Good job, didn't it? Accidentally.
Unless you were thinking it was gonna be the Caterpillar.
I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a few weeks since I did this.
I tell you what, we're not gonna finalize this, so if you can find out, if you'll
Alright.
just email us,
There was something else.
you know, otherwise we're gonna put grader in there. Is that
That'd be
okay, y'all?
That'd be fine.
And,
Because I'm trying not to buy tractors or shredders or anything like that because I put all that in that $4 million loan. That stuff is in there, so I'm trying not to include those things because they're gonna get bought. So I can't remember.
and also, Renee, and you can talk to. County. Trades in a lot of darn good machines.
I've already talked to them. Yeah, I talked to them.
And they're on that buyback program.
But they're gonna be big ones.
They don't have anything that I can use.
Okay, so what size are you on?
This is a small one. I think it's
Okay.
called 1120, something like that. We went over to
140
Brownfield.
H is what Tommy likes.
We went over to Brownfield and looked at theirs. And, it's pretty sweet.
Well, Tommy was telling me now that and he avoided it forever. In fact, he even got a machine from Germany because it didn't have, he likes a steering wheel.
Yeah.
And Caterpillar's new one had come out with not a steering wheel. And his,
Joysticks.
yeah, and his guys was like, we can't run this. And so he avoided buying one, and then he later bought one, and that guy loved it. So now Caterpillar has had so many complaints from that, they're going back to putting steering wheel. So they're changing up to.
I wouldn't know
Next.
what's best because I've never
I'm,
driven.
I'm fading, so
Okay.
can we move on?
The next one is transfer to general fund. It shows 167.
We wouldn't have any idea about that.
That's something to do with the loan again, that we're,
Where you see transfer out, is that what
Yeah, transfer to general fund.
to general?
Do you see that, Dan, that transfer out to general fund, 167,000? Do you know what that is?
I'm assuming what that's for is the loan payment, the annual loan payment, and the portion of the payment to build the debt reserve.
I don't think we put that in. That would be coming in from the revenue. So it's not gonna be an expense.
In Mr. Nils' estimates for establishing these expense accounts, he's made notes of what portion of them would be funded by the debt, by the rate increase, category by category. Some of them are 100% funded from that, others are 50 or 25%. And then there are still others that are zero funded from the rate increase. So let me get that document to you again so that you can take a look at it. Might help you with this.
Well, here's the one that I was looking at, 14,500.
Yeah, I just looked at that myself, Renee, and I didn't want to send you guys back up the ladder, but that debt reserve, his actual annual contribution to it is 14,500. So evidently he's allowing 10 years to build that.
45,000. So we can mark that 29,000 off.
Yeah, I didn't want to send you back up the ladder once I discovered that just a few minutes ago, but yeah, that's right.
So we're working the 29,000 now. Okay. So lab fees, we spent 1,700. We've got 3,000. And then safety equipment, we've got 750. And then we know what the 14,500 and the state permits, 2,800. That's what you have to run the plant, right?
Yes.
Okay. So is everybody good with those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We just left capital outlay blank, right? I guess.
Yeah.
For that motor grader, road grader, whatever you call it.
Well, we said the 15,000 was 1250 times 12. You don't,
Did you put something in there?
I put 15,000, but Renee said she was gonna, look and see
want that.
Yeah.
about
to
it,
remember.
because if it was something else that you were
Yeah,
wanting
because
instead
it
of the
was something
grader.
else, because I hadn't even thought about the grader whenever I did this.
Okay. So
several
with
years
us
ago.
marking out that 29,000, which it was 0, you know, I was thinking we might could use some of that. We did lower a few things, so there is maybe a couple of $1,000s that we could increase that capital outlay if there is something else that you are needing. Just be sure and let us know what
I'll
that
plug all
was.
this.
So now do we need just the regular water sewer, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so who all works for just water sewer? Who all salary is,
water?
it's gonna be you?
Oh, yeah, we need to take that sewer off.
Just water, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay,
How many employees do you have?
I don't know right now.
Me.
Me,
Clay County 2.
okay, and then I've got 2 positions open. Joe Bueno,
what about Marco Avalos?
he's a part-time position.
So Joe's on here.
Yeah, Joe, me, and then I have 2 other spots
Colin?
that,
Colin,
he's not with us anymore.
Angel Triana, what about somebody Trevino? No, Marco Avalo,
Marco's still there, he's part-time.
is he with you?
And he's in,
Okay.
and,
Flores,
Michael Flores is working in water right now.
okay. Is he the tall, slender guy?
No, that's Santana. The one that you're talking about, the tall, slender guy is Caesar Alanis.
Is
He's
he,
still there, yes.
he's
So he
on
needs
here?
here.
And he said, I paid him out of park. He's part-time at parks.
Oh, so we didn't put him in the payroll.
He's just part-time. He'll be through.
Summertime.
Right.
This budget. If he's through in September. it'd be
But I'm
this.
saying if she
Right.
uses someone for the summer, do we need to budget it?
He really didn't budget any for part-time.
Okay, we'll leave it. Okay, so it's just you, Joe Bueno, Marco, Michael Flores, and then Caesar. What is his last name?
Okay, they're just part-time employees. Full-time employees is me and Joe right now in the water department. And then I have 2 places that are not filled, so that's 4. And I'm asking for another one so that I would have a total of 5. in the
But
water
this Santana, Marco, and Michael Flores is part-time.
department. Yes.
And this may be a dumb question. If they're part-time, it'll be done in September, and you have 2 places open, would they not be interested in that? Or do you not want them?
Marco is the only one that's really, able to apply for the job. Because Marco has worked for me a couple times before. I'm afraid that if I hire him again, he's gonna quit again, so I haven't really made a decision yet about him. Michael Flores does not have a driver's license. Michael can't drive. Caesar is going back to school.
Okay, that, I was just curious, sorry, I didn't mean to get on that.
Santana.
Santana's already gone back to school. He's on it.
Okay, so we need the.
Salary for
salaries
Joe and
broken.
Renee and the other 3 full-time employees
Well,
that you have.
just 2 is really all that I have
Okay.
actually, but I'm
Okay.
asking for the 3rd. We had talked
Okay.
about Joe was on it.
Okay, okay,
But that's,
yeah, okay.
So-
So,
Renee, is that the one you're talking, want us to consider
hiring to replace you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are the salaries for those two positions you don't have filled, and yours and Joe's?
Well, right now, they would just be at the minimum at $15 an hour because I don't, know their qualifications or anything like that. Marco, if I hired Marco, I would probably pay him a little more. He's pretty close. But,
Dan,
So
can you give us,
31.2, 31.2?
sure.
Dan, can you give us Renee and then Joe Bueno's payroll?
All right.
Quick.
I'm sorry, but if you have someone part-time who's dropped it.
Yeah, that's what I,
Joe is 42,598.
Do what? Say that one more time.
Joe is 42,598.
Okay.
I'm on Ruben.
Renee is 72,731.
One more time.
72,731.
can you tell us what some of those part-time employees year-to-date salaries are? She mentioned Santana, Marco, Forrest, Caesar.
They all were hired at about the same time, so I would assume they're about the same.
We'll just pick one.
All right.
Times it.
Michael Flores, let's just get his. Michael Flores has earned $4,290 so far this year. Doesn't have any insurance or benefits other than that. And I think the other guys are about the same. They don't ever put in a full 80 hours usually either. Let me, who else is another one?
I mean, why so many when she needs to?
Marco Avalos, let's see here.
Come around. Oh, he wants to.
You know, why?
Marco Avalos, about 4,300 so far this year. I'm sure they're all about in parity.
They can do that work over and so part-time 2,000.
Taking a break?
Huh?
I said, are we taking a break?
She
She
went-
went.
What?
Y'all want a water?
I'm good.
So you said 2,000.
I mean, what are y'all thinking? And Ruben's the one that mentioned it at our meeting Monday, and I totally agree with him. We're gonna have summertime help. Let's do like the county. Go to the school and say, hey, I'm hiring 2 summertime help. You tell me who 2 of your, you ask, are there 2 that you would like? Yes, and you have them come and apply. You'll take the applications
They
there.
have that choices program too, where they kind of help kids. There's opportunity.
There would be someone there that would want a job.
There used to be programs that would help pay for that. When I was in school, I went to work for a lot of different companies in the summer, and federal funds paid my salary, kind of just work training. I worked for an electric company one summer, pretty much full time. It didn't cost them anything. It was paid for by a work program from the government. We need to look into that. That might be a big help for us.
They didn't have to do what district.
Well, when you total what you wanted, the 10,000, Joe's, Renee's, and 2 full-times.
At 31.2.
At 31.2. That's $187,729. She wants that other guy at $25 an hour.
Now go ahead and keep my mind like Ruben. We hire someone that's gonna take her place. I want him to live.
Yeah,
That's on that.
and
I'm
why should
sorry.
it be, why should it be appointed? Well, they work it off and hurry up.
And I agree, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and advertise.
Yeah.
She's gonna give us a
Give us
year
time
and a
to
half, then
come and look at what the best option.
I agree with Ruben completely.
She can hire who she wants.
And I understand with everything going on, so we need to go ahead and hire her. We might have to go ahead. I don't think someone living out of town is the answer. We need someone that's here.
Well, what we could do is say from the start time, start them in January or March.
Start taking applications. Maybe we'll do simple, put it out there. And I'm sorry, y'all, we've got to have someone know.
Sure. Think about how much that would save on fuel, wear and tear on a vehicle.
Okay, so we're just gonna go with the $187,729. That's the two
That's not
part-times,
with the, that's
Joe,
not with the one
No,
that
no,
she's on.
no, Joe Bueno, Renee, and 2 full-times. That she don't have now.
What if, let me throw this out there. What if we go ahead and hire someone at, let's say, 45,000? You know, if we get someone from January till September, divide 45,000 by 12.
4750.
That'd be, you know, for 10 months, or for October, November, December, so we wouldn't pay so for 9. So times that times 9.
33,750.
See, if we went ahead and budgeted, you know, some extra money and started taking applications, then, because I agree, she does need someone that she can get in here, but knowing that that person, when she does retire, we're gonna give them a raise. Now, we're not doing anything like, I mean, she's been here, what? So, you know, so I'm just saying that if that's what she is telling us ahead, that she is going to retire, I think we need to budget that in from January on, and we need to start putting applications out there.
And then put that amount, you know,
Or
full-time for
Yes.
45,000.
advertise, knowing that, you know, we're going to bump it up a little whenever she.
What do you think about putting 37.5 added to the 187 is 220, let's just do 225.
Is that, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that?
You know, what she wants is to train someone to be working with her and replace her. So that's going to be the advantage of hiring this person rather than advertising later on. They're going to come in cold turkey. But she's trying to train someone.
No, Charles, we're talking about advertising in November and hiring someone by January so they can come in and work with her for a year and a half.
Okay, I didn't hear that part.
Person know that they have to live in
We
Secrets.
want someone that lives here.
Okay.
Time, do we need 5,000?
So Cindy, what'd you come up with?
I just,
You said
37.5,
Okay.
225,000.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that we're gonna advertise at 45,000. Advertise. Okay, and then 30, and what was the total amount?
Two,
225?
200,
Okay,
it figures 225, 229, but let's just do 225, because I kind of figured big on.
okay. So overtime, 5,000, that looks good. We haven't used any this year, but with everything going on and if you need to new, we might have some. Okay.
Tools, 3,000.
Yes, I think that sounds good.
Postage, we've used 5285.
A lot of mail outs this year.
Well, that, if we divide that by 10 times 12, that's 6342. We better bump that to 6,500.
And I bet the very same thing's going to happen on material and supplies.
Yeah, it looks a little close too, doesn't it? That's 93, so we better do 93.
That should go down a little bit now that I take the sewer stuff out of it and put it on sewer.
Oh,
So I'll just keep it at 8.
Because she has
Well,
5,000 over here.
you had
so-
5,000 already over here that we've spent, and you just budgeted for 5,000. So that's not,
I may need it. Better to have it, and not need it, than need it, not have it.
Yeah.
3284 divided by 10 times 12. It's 39, that 4,000 will be good. Utilities. Now, did we bump that up over here, utilities? Yes. Because we spent 3,500, we asked for 10,000.
I'm a little confused on my utilities here. I don't really know how much I'm spending in each category. I really don't, because the electric bills are all combined together. It's such a hassle for Dan to give them to me and then me do them and then give them back to him because he has to pay them online or we get penalized. So, he does the majority of the utility bills. See, I don't see in street lights, it's $22,216 is what we spent right now. And the street lights is in the water.
Where are you seeing that at?
It's way down at the
Oh.
bottom.
Well, we've spent 28,690.
Okay, well, see, mine was done in July, so it was
Okay.
22,000.
But
I'm not real clear on.
well, and I see what you're saying. It's kind of, you can't say this light goes here, this light goes there.
No, I think basically what we're gonna have to do is what you're doing right now, which is dividing it by 12 and.
Yeah, moving it around, just move it.
See, I have parks. I have some that are in parks. I have some that are in the wastewater. I have some that is for the pump stations, right? And then one that's for the cup. And then I have streetlights. So I have like 5 different accounts, and it's hard to.
And not knowing what's left in each one
Yeah,
as
and
you're
I'm
splitting that
not
up.
sure
yeah,
which ones are getting charged to which account.
each month,
So it's
yeah.
hard for me to figure out.
Okay, well, on that one, that's utilities, 13,949 year to date. When you divide it by 10 times 12, it's 16,738. So we better bump that up to. at
Well,
least-
except she's taking part of it out. And put it over here. So that 15,000 is probably okay.
Well, but see,
And this thing,
utilities, let me see.
We did 10,000 and she's only spent
Oh,
35.
you're right. Well, let's just leave it at 15,000.
And the utilities in this one is also includes the internet.
Okay, the next item is pipes, valves, and fittings. And you spent 13,043 and you requested 10,000.
She moved 3,000.
So I think that would be.
But you still got 2 more months.
And like I said, when I did this one, my paper was dated July 31st, and it just said 9,000. So I have spent a little more since then.
Yeah, like
So what
$4,000. Okay, so
Fire hydrants.
that's 15,651. And then take 3,000 out.
3,000 off.
So we better do 12.
Compress paid us $4,800 today. I credited that back.
Compress did?
Yeah.
So 12, right? Yes. Meters, it moves 4,000 meters over here, but we still got 8,000 here. We've only spent 4,000. So can we lower this one 4,000? As we move 4,000 over here in the sewer. I mean, what's what?
on the water fund, do you feel like you're gonna be doing a bunch of new meters?
Well, I'm trying to see here because I put in a little extra about, I can't remember if I put it on well services or if I left it in meters. And the bottom of mine is cut off. I've never known whether.
Printer cuts the edge off.
Mine does too.
It's the margins. I need to go in there and reset the margins on the file.
Well, the reason is because I've am in the kind of the process of putting some digital meters on some of my wells. And we have to find the specific size for it. And they're about $1,500 a piece. And I actually have a bill, just got a bill for 2 of them that I have purchased. But I can't remember if I put them in well services. I may have because I brought well services up to 12,000.
What number is that one? Oh, 427.
41, 427. But at the same time, I want to pull and
Yeah, you
Yes.
increase that 2,000.
well, and at the same time, I want to pull 3 or 4 and probably put some new pumps in them. So
So you want to leave it at 8,000?
I really would like to.
Okay. So, okay, chemicals and fertilizer, when you divide the 12,561 by 10 times 12, it's $15,073. I guess that's spraying around the meters and
Streets,
streets.
signs.
Nothing
wells.
for insecticides.
I have it in parts.
Street repairs and paving. We spent 3,025 now. Is that nothing that could come out of our street money? Or was this done before our street money got going?
I don't have any kind of, I don't have an account number for street money or any knowledge of in and out of that, so I just put it in this one. And I think that we're probably going to have some bills from the county.
Oh, yeah, we want those to come out that big amount.
Yeah, because they did seal coating, precinct 4 did some seal coating for us. And precinct 1 is supposed to come and do seal coating on Industrial Street here this month. So there's probably going to be some more bills come out of that.
So Dan, does she need to know that code to put that against that street money and
She's got an expense account for street repair expenses. and we've got money coming in for street repairs every month. It's just a matter of moving that money as she spends it from the street income account and then reimbursing the expense account, bringing it back to zero each month, or however often we choose to do it. But right now, you have about $108,000 you could spend in total on street repairs without affecting the budget you're working on right now. I wouldn't consider, as far as your budget, I would say zero for street repairs. Don't budget anything for it. It's self-funded.
Okay, so
So,
zero there.
so zero, okay.
And we're putting that on, putting zero on
On
street repairs.
street repairs and paving. Street signs, 1,500, that probably looks about right. That 12,000 looks like that'd be about right.
On that one, didn't we talk about how where the police department gets their fuel? We talked about that Tuesday. And with a better rate, something like that.
Fuel master, fuel man.
Instead of getting from Bronco Co-op.
He says it's saving them a lot of money at the police department.
Really? Where, is it here in Seagrave?
Where is that done at,
Well,
Ben?
you have to buy, the only fuel man outlet is Stripes. But you can also purchase on the road. Fuel Man's a nationwide company, so you know, any town you go to is going to have a Fuel Man dealer. But there's only the one here in Seagraves, and that's Stripes.
They let us charge?
No, the card.
No card? Okay.
Fuel Man is, consider it like a credit card, but it's only for fuel, and it can be used wherever. In our case, though, in Seagraves, only Stripes is affiliated with Fuel Man.
He was saying the other night that with the police department, the chief, that it saved them a lot of money.
They pay less per gallon using Fuel Man because Fuel Man is a big company. They've got accounts all over the nation, so they can kind of shove the oil companies around and demand a lower price than the co-op can. It's just a matter of volume. So we get a better deal from Fuel Man per gallon.
So we already have an account with Fuel Man.
Yeah, I've got it set up.
So you can get the utilities department set up as well.
Yeah, I can right away. And it works pretty well. Each driver carries a card. I know that was a concern you had, is that you, for like diesel and stuff like that, you wanted to have control of the card and give it to whoever was out using it. Fuel Man identifies each card and the driver who uses that card. So every month I can see Joe Mendoza bought this much fuel for his cruiser. And then they should have a log inside there where Joe Mendoza says, this is when I bought fuel, this is how much I bought. And that's got to match up with the report we get from Fuel Man, says how much, what the mileage was when he filled up, all that kind of stuff.
What if you use multiple vehicles? What if you?
You can also, yeah, it can also be set up. It can either be to reside with the driver or it can reside in the vehicle, either way.
We'll talk about all this later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So y'all want to leave 12,000 in there right now.
Yes.
Uniforms, $3,000. There you go. That's what I said. You spent
Well, probably because you're adding a couple more.
I think that's where I put in, because I just buy the shirts
Oh,
outright. And then twice a year, I give them $100 for pants. So they should buy pants.
okay. So through that,
And I think I just put all of that
on the one.
in the one. That way.
Building repairs, request 10,000, you spent $2,469.
I want to do some things. I need a storage. I want to spend some money and build a storage shed. I want to take that stucco building down.
Inside where
Yeah, behind the shop next to the.
that
pump
used to be
station.
y'all's office.
Yeah, well, that's not stucco, the one next to it.
Okay.
It's the one that's old. And I want to put some storage areas there for some chemicals and what have you. We have to move things around all the time to get it to our sewer stuff, to get to the insecticides, to get to the Roundup. And I'm running out of space to put our 55-gallon barrels, and we have that enzymes that we put in, and we're just running out of space.
So
I
is
need
this
some
something you want to do
storage.
yourself? You
Yeah,
want to
I'm
build yourself?
kind of looking to do it myself. We'll
Has
see.
everything been purchased for your awnings for your?
Yes, it's all purchased.
Okay, so there's no more, I didn't know if that was the reason
No.
you're needing.
No,
okay.
everything is purchased for that. It takes 2 or 3 people,
Yeah,
it takes
at
a
one
bunch of
time.
people to come do it at one time because we have to borrow equipment from the county and all that.
This is allergies, by the way.
Bless you.
They're
I'm
driving me
not-
nuts
I'm
today.
not scared.
Okay, so automobile and
That's we've
equipment
been in a lot of
repair.
expense there. Nearly $9,000, and we budgeted 5,000 for last year.
What was that?
Automobile
The
and
auto,
equipment
yeah, auto and equipment repair.
Well, I can tell you what a lot of that came from. We've had to work on the dump truck a couple of times, and we need to go work on it again. We've got a hydraulic cylinder that's going out. And we have bought tires for the front tires for the tractor and the new back tire. And Joe uses the old deck mower, and he has spent some money fixing up the deck mower. Every time he uses it, he has to replace something.
So, well,
Wow. Yeah. And I think that's probably it. And I can't think of anything else that we really worked on. And by the way, we are finished paying the county for our sweeper and our dump truck. They'll pay a regular water bill this
bill
month.
after.
Yeah.
okay, radio repairs, we spent $49.80.
We bought radios.
Except for the new vehicles that were.
No, ma'am, they're handheld radios.
Oh,
And I guess they didn't come out of last year's budget, they came out of this year's budget.
Oh, okay. Did we tell you to buy them out of last year's budget?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think they just came into
okay, so 2,000 will be okay on that. Travel expense, 1,500,
looks good to me.
yeah. Advertising and printing, you've spent $2,804. Is 2,000 enough for that?
She moved some over here.
Oh,
There's 500 on the other one.
1,500, okay. Yeah, 500, counties things. Hard on my old eyes, okay. So,
So it should be okay.
a little bit.
I've got one more public notice to print for this year.
$100. Dues and memberships up, we had it 1,500 last year, you spent 87, you still need 1,500.
I really don't.
You don't even know what that is, 500.
Well, I do know what it is, but it's for membership to the Permian Basin Regional Utilities Association. And if you don't hold a license, you don't qualify for membership. So,
So 500 is enough.
yes. So there's only 2 of us right now that are members.
So do we need anything in professional fees, legal / accounting?
That's what was in there. And that's what I put. I don't.
We put 250 over here on the other one, so.
Or let's just do 250. Safety equipment, we've spent 3,061. We budgeted for 1,000. Is 2,000 enough? What all of that?
I don't know how much did you say?
It says we spent 3,061.
There's probably gonna be a little more in that too, because they came in and put one of those door lock intercom systems at my office too, and I haven't received the bill for that.
And so that might be some of that reimbursable stuff.
Yes,
that
it
CARES
is,
Act.
it is, and I write up on my receipts that it was because of the COVID, so that Dan can put those together.
So
So
2,000 might still
2,000.
be okay.
Yeah.
here's street lines. We had no street lights over here. Supposedly, we've spent $28,690, budgeted 20,000, spent nearly close to 9,000 more, and we're requesting 25,000. What do I think about that? Ring in. Parks, did some get moved to parks?
I put street lights in parks, but I have no line, I don't think I have a line item for street lights in parks. And let me just say that we spent
No, there's not one.
about 4,000, 5,000, put in 2 new street lights this year. In fact, just a month or 2 ago. We had customers request street lights, so I went through all, and they've actually been paid for. I think Dan's paid for them, but they haven't.
That's probably
installed
what that's,
yet.
that's probably why
That's true. When they installed the new streetlights, we had to pay for the whole thing.
And it was about.
We had to buy the streetlights, buy the pole, pay to have it put up, all that. And also this last year, they came through and changed the street light bulbs out for LED. And the setup cost for that was pretty high, but over the long term, we'll save money month by month.
So we should be okay with the 25?
I think so, yeah.
Spent 9721, so
Not anything new gonna be here, so.
if you divide by 10 and times 12, that's 11,665. No, okay, with 2,000. You're gonna jump it to 12,000.
Especially if she brings in those storage buildings, and I don't know if they insure stuff like that, and I don't know if y'all had it too.
I don't know. That's.
How much?
I think 10,000.
Comp
Should be about the same.
spent 12,057 this year. That's 14,468. It's just budgeted for 12,000. 425. If it stays on track with what we've already spent.
We would only hurt a while.
What is our expense? Wonderful. You want to do 14.5 or leave it at 12?
But she didn't. When hired, also 12,000, we spent 8,400.
thinks that's where she put something, pumps or something.
Well, I want to pull a couple of wells, pull the pumps out of a couple of wells and probably replace them. That's why I added just a little extra.
Okay.
Sewer plant repairs, which
Mark-
we don't need
Yeah,
nothing.
mark it out.
Yeah, it's got 0 in it. Contract service. What do you put in that?
That's where I put the automation people. They, one that charges 600 a month for monitoring our servers. They come in and service the SCADA system, install door locks and
The 22,222, you divide it by 10 times 12, is 26,600. You want to just leave it at 25?
I would.
Training in schools, you put 5,000. We spent 751 this year.
You have 2,000 over here. Does that matter? You think you'd use it both in both areas?
probably could lower it. You could probably lower it here on this one
To like the 3,000?
because it takes 2 years of experience before the state will allow us to test. So I'm not gonna, I mean, for me and for Manuel, we'll have to get some, CE training and whatever, but heck, we've been doing a lot of that online and it's. Have the travel experience, yeah, it's cheaper.
Okay, Social Security and Medicare, the 225, the 225,000, their salary, 765 is 17,212. I bet we could really just put 18,000 on that. Because we don't have full-time people there anyway yet. Or at least do 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I might do 20. Because if we do end up hiring someone that's gonna be in training.
Yeah. Retirement, that's kind of the same thing. That figures 24,300 on the 10/8. 225. 24,300. Let's just do that at 25.
That's the 31,
Yes.
okay.
Health insurance. Ooh. I guess we just need to know Joe and Renee's health insurance.
All right. Joe Bueno, 1,479 per month.
Just for
Joe.
Renee is 1,397.
1479. Well, those two are 34,512. I can't
But
imagine.
let's take into consideration, we do hire that around January.
So if we had 1,000, say 1,000,
12,000 more.
it's 46.
That would be aiming high, but we never know how much that stuff's gonna go.
you know, and our two that we don't have employed, what their age is or anything. Okay,
Younger.
Yeah,
So did you say 55?
yes.
water purchases, that's the $12,000 paid to Ms. Hathaway.
I believe so.
Is that right, Dan?
I'm sorry?
The 12,000 water purchases,
Yeah,
Is that-
that's right. That's Jeannie Hadaway. That's the only one we pay a lease to. It's 12,000 a year.
all right, now, we have a note of this 7250 capital outlay. And we spent 7250, and that's tank sandblasting, and you requested 15,000. Is that something where you wanted to put something else in?
I request 15,000, I put
You didn't know?
1,500.
You put 1,500 in capital outlay?
Yeah,
Well, you had the tank sandblasting, the 7250 spent against that code.
You don't need another.
I think you're off the line. The next one was 1,500.
Yeah,
Oh.
miscellaneous expenses.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, oops. Yeah, I don't think that,
Is your pickup paid for?
yes, my pickup's
Joe's?
paid for. Joe's pickup is paid for. The only ones we're paying on are
The
the
ones
three
that we've
new
got
ones,
on.
yeah. That's it.
Well, and we got 30, remember a while ago, we've got that 39,166 in here. And we, notes payable, we put a note that we were putting 3 pickups, the Boda and the Cat,
Mm-hmm.
the backhoe.
2 pickups. Um,
So
Well,
2
that's,
pickups,
yeah, that's what should be in this one.
okay. And that was the ones that were 583?
Yeah,
530.80.
538.
Yes, 538.
Okay, that's 1,076. The Kubota payment, about what is it, and the Cat payment?
I think the Kubota payment is like 1,001. I don't know what the gap payment's gonna be yet.
It was
1,000.
less, remember? It was less than last year.
Dan, do you
So
know
about
what it was?
1,070.
Let me look here.
What are you taking this out of?
Oh, I jumped
Capital
way
outlay?
down.
Notes
I
payable.
Okay,
I-
I was about to
I
say,
jumped
wait,
down
what?
because of the capital outlay, and that kind of goes together.
But, so capital outlay, what did we decide? Nothing?
The only thing maybe is if I don't have enough money in the
Building repairs.
building repairs, I might could use it, you know,
Let's
for,
put 5,000. What do y'all think?
'cause I shouldn't be spending any
You
more
shouldn't be
money on the
sandblasting tanks.
Yeah.
5,000
Okay.
on capital outlay? Instead of 15?
Well, we were paying Caterpillar 1,007. And I don't think it's gonna be a little less. I think it was gonna be modestly more.
Okay, let's say 1,100. What's the Kubota?
Kubota lease is like 900 a month.
Oh, yeah. That's 3,176, the 2 pickups, the Cat, and the Kubota, times 12. It's 38,112. But at least we don't have to have 52,000.
Right.
Let's put 40.
40?
What y'all think?
That's a good, say that.
Okay. All right, now we're going to put 5,000 in the capital outlay. Miscellaneous expense, you put 1,500, but there's been 3,326 cents spent out of that this year, so it's over double.
No one ever knows what this one is.
I know, it's like everything goes there. And so that's 39.91 times 12.
See, mine says 420, so I don't know.
Would that be something to do with the COVID, Dan?
What's
That
that?
extra
Miscellaneous.
miscellaneous expense?
Yeah, that's where Renee was talking about the entry control device that was installed. That's where that came. That's where I posted that to. But that will be reimbursed. Yes.
Let's just leave it. Okay. I just can't imagine us needing money for bad debts. Let's do 2,000 or 2,500. What do you think? Are you cold now? Gee, Deborah, you pop around. I'd have to have a lock.
Hormones.
I'd have to have a lock on my thing at the house. She left in my house. I'll throw you a blanket. That's what I do, John.
What did y'all put bad debt, 2,500?
Yeah, let's do 2,500.
Okay, and then capital, that's that.
I don't know what, that's that line. You can spend nothing, I don't know why $5 was put in.
Capital improvements plan?
Yeah,
No,
Mine says
interest.
500.
Yeah, she moved down to interest expense.
Oh, okay.
your
So leave it
capital improvement plan says $500.
My capital improvement plan says $500,000.
Okay, yeah, I thought you said $500.
Why?
We don't know, we're guessing that's something that Chris Neal said he would. Do you know what the 500,000 for the capital improvement plans is for, Dan?
No, ma'am, I don't. Throw it out.
That's a lot. Let's chunk that out.
Kidding.
The what?
Just kidding.
On this.
On the RO system.
Oh, what is the payment to Texas Water Development Board for our loan?
For the RO system?
272 something.
You're talking about the RO and cuff, that payment?
Yes.
That is about 220,000 a year.
Is that
But
what
I've
this is?
seen it somewhere else though.
I have two.
Yeah, you saw it in my budget and transfers out or transfers to water sewer. You know, actually, guys, I don't know where to put that, but that really isn't something that you need to account for in the budget like this, trying to split up our tax revenue, because that's all taken, like we were talking about earlier, that's paid for out of that water rate increase. It only affects these accounts when I have to write a check, because the only way that I can write a check is through the general fund. So I have to transfer that money into the general fund to some account and then write a check so I can send it out to make these payments. We'll hopefully find a better way to do that when we can get our hands on an accountant to advise us.
We just said, we set sanitation aside because we said it's just,
That's what I was.
we're just trying to figure out what this $500,000 is. But
I really don't know. When I put this together for you guys, I did it line by line. I can't say that that's something that Renee wrote down, and it might just be when I was going line by line, I rested my finger on the keyboard. Who knows?
And it added, let's just mark it
But
out.
it doesn't mean anything that I'm aware of, actually. And if Renee's not aware of it either, I say get rid of it.
okay,
Yeah, what I like.
well, that changes things
A
too.
lot.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
Okay, what
So
about,
transfers out, nothing.
what about lab fees?
I think the last two.
The
need to
last
stay
two
like they
need
were.
to
I agree.
The only thing we might do is increase that state permits, look at that. Because we've already spent $37.96.
Well, while we're near this item, bad debt reserve, bad debt expense, if you look back, 2017, 18, my first year here, I was very ambitious and I took it on myself to charge off. They'd never charged it off a bad debt. We were carrying bad debts from the last century. I charged them all off. I was scolded pretty severely for doing that from the accountants. That's, you guys are the only ones authorized to do that, but that got rid of a bunch of bad debt that the city had been hauling around. The year after that, we did actually have some bad debt that moved through your purview. That was 9,000. Now we're clear of most of our bad debt. The aging report that I send you every month shows you what bad debts we're carrying, and they shouldn't get any longer than 4 months out when we make a decision to charge them off, send it for collection. So that $10,000, that's not necessary anymore. I'd put that more at about $1,000 per year, because
Yeah,
we've already charged off all our bad debts.
Yeah, we put 2,500 on it, is what we did.
Okay.
I think we ought to jump that state permit fees up to 5,000,
Okay.
just because we don't know what all that.
Because we can-
Kind of
It's, I know that it's the.
Well,
water
she's got
system
2,800 over here already.
Oh, she does?
Well, that's for the wastewater. Now, this is probably for the water's permit and probably for the Permian Beach Regional Planning Board.
So you need 5,000 there?
So,
So you think 5,000?
Yeah.
If you've already spent 37, okay.
well, 4,000.
Well, when you divide it by 10 times 12, it's 45.55.
Those are the only two things that I think comes out of the water fund, which is water permit and the regional planning board.
With that sheet back that I
Yes, ma'am.
I say leave it, just
Yeah,
like
we
it
just pay
is.
that electric bill.
We have 1,000 on repair.
Oh, yeah.
Just leave it.
Wish they would paint it or reskin it or something.
Yeah, I was hoping that whatever they call it, EMS or
Northeast
hospital
County.
district or whatever. Would, but it looks like we're on track for, our revenue for water and sewers, the way this is. I mean, we know we're gonna have more from there, but do we need to split the water and sewer revenue now?
I wouldn't think so.
Since we have the expenses split?
Dan, that's your question.
I really couldn't tell you. That's really what I was kind of talking about before. Chris had put down what he estimates would be 100% funded by the rate increase on certain accounts, and others, and there are many of them that he says zero will be funded from that. So whatever he's marked zero, I would split that out of what is currently water sewer, lower water sewer, raise sewer by that amount. And only those accounts that he lists that are 100% funded from the increase keep separate. But I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. This is all brand new. We're gonna have to make our best guesses and then see what happens next year.
Well, the only thing is we're gonna have that payment coming out over here. So that extra money, that $12.50 that we're gonna, start, that's gonna be over here because we put it over here.
Yeah, that's the only thing you really want to do. And we're not going to start making payments for a few years, I don't think. We won't start paying this loan back till the whole project is finished and we spend all the money. Then the bond will be sold and then bought by USDA, and then we'll start making payments. So in the meantime, we'll be banking that money and we're going to need it. But it also, I think, will give us a chance to kind of sort this out and figure out where we are and what the real costs associated with this will be.
What do you mean need it? Doesn't it have to sit there till we start paying?
Well, we're going to start the rate increase this October. That rate increase is to cover the annual payment plus some of these expenses. Now, some of these expenses we can cover right away, but the annual payment won't commence until the job is done. What, 2-3 years? What are the estimates until it's finished? And all of that money spent. I'm sorry?
The money's gonna build, or it's not that we're.
Yeah, it's gonna build. It's gonna build. And we want it to. You need it to. That's that rainy day fund and debt reserve and all the rest of that. But the first year that we actually have a payment due, we're gonna wanna collect that money and put it aside. In fact, I know that they're gonna require us, just like Texas Water Development requires us every month, to make that sinking fund transfer from water sales to the sinking fund. And they look at it every month, and if I miss it, I get a phone call and they tell me I need to do it. So they're gonna wanna have that happen, but
Must have had 100 phone calls.
They never, surplus and stuff. And robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay,
So I heard y'all tell Calvin that y'all weren't going to award any raises at this time.
We just haven't decided. We gotta plug the whole budget in. We haven't made any decisions on anything.
yeah, we want to do everything else and then do wages last.
Gotcha.
He did mention that the county was not doing any increase in wages this year. I mean, he mentioned that.
yeah, the judge told me that the county is gonna be hurting pretty badly for the next, he anticipates 2 or 3 years.
Why?
Oh,
Well, the bottom falling out of the oil market, the county got a lot of money from oil royalties, and they're not now.
Bypass the taxes and go through their churches and
Mhm.
Seminole.
We, on the other hand, get nothing from oil royalties, so we're not affected.
no.
This is one of those times when we can be glad we're poor.
Our school's pretty much the same way too.
I heard something about, they were talking about spending school taxes. School was, or, giving the school tax.
Excuse me. Let me share a little information with you guys. The Permanent Basin Planning Committee, I've been in touch with the Miss Virginia Blue, and she tells me that there's lots of money available for public works and like broadband. There was one other one. Anyway, she said this money that's available is funded almost 80 to 100%. And there's plenty of it out there. Now she's gonna give me a list of the things that we can apply for. So there's lots of money, and it's granted almost 100%, 80 to 100%. So as soon as I get that information, I should be getting it the next day or two, and I will share it with everyone.
I want to mention something too, and this is happening like after today. This is going to be a deal. There's a company that my family has made an agreement with. We've been wanting the antenna tower tore down, and a guy just pulled up one day about 4 months ago. Said, "What do you use that for?" "Well, we don't use it for nothing." "Well, I want to rent it from you." And who he is, and you may know him, you may know him. I can't remember what his last name is, but I can tell you who his family is. His mother owns that Anna's Day Spa in Seminole. You know, any of those. Mennonite family. Been over there for quite some time. But he has started a new internet company. Well, it's not new in Seminole. It's called Uber. Uber Internet. I've got some cars. Uber, you've heard them. Have you heard anything good, bad, ugly? Okay. Well, he spent nearly $50,000 putting all of that up there on our 150-foot tower. And just in my negotiations with them, I didn't want any money. I said, we got to have internet. Our family needs internet. So we just made a deal with them to provide us with free internet. but it is gonna be available to our community. I told him I could be his best advertisement or his worst advertisement. So it better be good. And he told us yesterday, he called me Tuesday and he said, I thought I'd be ready today, but he said, it's swaying a little bit. He said, it's not lining up, it's all, and he's got a head off something. And he said, it's taller than anything he's ever had anything on. And he says it's swaying. And so it's not as reliable what he wanted. So he come in there yesterday and finished up today, and they put new guide wires. I mean, we had several, but he thought it would be perfectly safe. But, I mean, still, but because it's so tall, it's just wiggling just enough to cause some interference. But he's got that done today. He texted me this afternoon and said it is steel, and he's tested it at different, things. So he's fixing to be open. So we're fixing to be getting some sales tax off of that.
Awesome.
I mean, because he's fixing to start advertising in our community that he's got.
Does he have an office in Seminole?
Yes, his name is John, and I cannot remember what his last name is.
Have any of y'all heard of Resound?
Oh, I tried them.
Okay.
Well, we needed internet at our barn. So the first people I called was TDS, because that's what my nephew has, that's what my parents have. It's TDS, cable. They said, can't do it, you're too far from the main pole. Just a few feet from the back of the house, Won't be any good. He said, I promise you. In fact, he did a test. He said, it won't good. He said, it'll be good in this wintertime, but come summer and all the trees, because they bounce off of the water tower. Do you know that? Okay, they bounce off the water tower. That's what they told me. And it's not very tall. And so he said, once summer comes, you're going to hate me. I said, okay, thank you for telling me. Go on. And he told me then, he said, try Hughes Net. So I got Hughes Net out there. They set up their little dish, and it's working good.
Let them go. Did we try to maybe end the meeting?
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm switching to, is Uber. And I don't have to have an antenna. It'll be a little bitty antenna thing.
Are we about done here?
I have a question. Excuse me. We want to just not adjourn and wait until we have our final meeting to finalize things.
Yeah. Yeah, if we can, that's what we should do.
Yeah, and then we'll pick a date when we want to meet again and finalize it for next week, Monday.
Yes.
Are you saying Monday?
Is that fine with everyone else, Monday?
Tuesday,
As far as I know.
17th or the 18th. Anything ringing a bell?
Monday would be fabulous for me,
Okay.
only because we're closing Monday to do some plumbing repair.
Oh, okay, that'll be fine.
But
Monday's fine.
I was just thinking school started.
I know.
Affecting any of us, but Monday's fine.
yeah, I guess Monday.
All right, Monday it'll be, I'll recess till Monday.
And
Okay.
find out if we can get the community building.
All right, good night.
Well, we can always just do Zoom purely.
If everybody plugs their numbers in.
Yeah, I'll get all this and get it to you.
That'll work, Monday. Monday, Zoom.
Okay, well, I'll talk to
Rec-
you tomorrow.
Recess till Monday at 6 for the record, is that right?
Yeah. See if we available. I will tomorrow.
But as wherever we meet or however, for the record, are we recessing until Monday at 6?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Can we do it Zoom legally since we posted it as a, and then finish it off on Zoom? Is that legal?
not really sure on that, ma'am. My instinct tells me no, that maybe what we would want to do is adjourn at this point, and get a posting up that says it'll be Zoom and give us 72 hours, get it up by the end of the day tomorrow for Monday, and convene a new meeting on Zoom.
It's Friday to Monday.
That sounds good. Is that okay with
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I think so.
That'll work.
All right, then that's the way I'll make it. Then we'll need a motion to adjourn tonight. And I will make sure that we post another agenda by the end of the day tomorrow, saying that it'll be on Zoom, and I'll have that posted to the website as well.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn. Shannon wants it.
Deborah Middleton seconds.
Meet adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
Dan, I'm gonna bring some paperwork to you for the election. We all signed that, along with the key and then the executive session. I'll do that tomorrow.
All right, if I'm not here, just leave that with Angie. Will that be all right? I've got some business I've got to attend to tomorrow.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay, well, Deborah,
Thank
Well,
you.
7, 8 degrees.
I'm sorry.
okay, see what I can mix it.